Boom. 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 Boom.
Hello and welcome back to the Pop Tab Podcast, the podcast that's as sweet as soda for breakfast. I am one of your hosts, Brent Kruscke, the upholder of the unpopular opinion. And joining me today, as always, is Jacob Stokes, the ghost host.
Hello.
Today, Pop Tab Podcast is filmed in front of a live Twitch audience. If you want to be part of the conversation, head on over to twitch.tv/rollpixel and you can be part of the conversation as we talk about movies, games, and all other things pop culture that really just grabs our attention. That's kind of how we decide what we want to talk about. If we're not interested, we probably won't talk about it. But you can be part of it. And if you want to know when we do go live, head on over to patreon.com/rollpixel. It lets you know when we do go live on Twitch, when YouTube VODs become available. And even audio versions of this podcast are available right there. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. It's just the best way for you to stay connected with us and for us to stay connected with you. So definitely check it out if you're interested. And we start the show, as we always do, with a little bit of housekeeping, what we're going to be doing for the streams of the week. So I've got Thursday. I'm being joined by James and Stokes. Once again, we're going to get back into Overwatch.
Challenger, baby.
Yep. Challenger.
No, just
Challenger. You heard it. And then Friday, Alec and I are playing Gauntlet. Saturday, I put crew gameplay because I think Bethany and Em are both free as well. But I'm also leaving a floater day because they have the stuff on my roof.
remote Emily, right?
Yeah, remote.
Okay, yeah.
They have the stuff on my roof. They're going to be fixing it. And every day I see them do other houses, and I'm like, are you going to pick a day I'm not streaming?
I was going to say, it's been on your roof
for over a week.
August 24th, I was at your place and picking up a friend nearby, and I saw all the shit on the roof.
Yes.
And for reference, it is September 3rd.
Yeah, so it's like every day I'm like,
and a half?
it could be my, like, I don't know when they're going to do it. So there might be a day where I'm like, hey, I can't stream because there's someone literally banging 6 feet above me.
Yeah.
I can't really stream. So there is
Well,
also
you
a
got this
floating
mic,
day.
right? Well, yeah, I guess you don't have that, though.
I don't have this. I don't
Yeah,
have the big
it's
road
the-
control, all that stuff. I just have
It's
the
the
mic with the
soundboard
wave.
that does the magic.
Yeah. So
It's a good mic, though.
it is a good mic. And and it might be something where I might be able to stream later and just do a short stream, but I'm also having a flex day. So that's kind of what Saturday might be. And then Sunday I'm doing RuneScape with Alec. And then all those might shift, like I said, if the roof starts getting work done.
Any new RuneScape goals yet? Or just keep the checklist?
Got the fire cape. We are officially
What'd
at
you
the
say?
point, like, we got to get the fire cape.
Oh,
That's
I
still
just
the thing.
heard got
No.
the fire cape. I was like, whoa,
No.
well, you're done. Checkmate.
The next thing that we're moving on to, though, we've done all the different tasks to get the levels and stuff. Now it's let's go get the actual items we'll be using in the fight caves. So like it's actually gear up time. We've done our training. We've done our 10,000 steps or whatever, 10,000 hours.
10,000
It's
steps.
it's
It's a
now,
daily goal. Yeah.
It's now time to suit up, ready to go fight, and probably lose a bunch and learn how to play the game.
So the next however many hours is just going to be failing.
No,
Not
the
as much
the next probably 2 or 3 streams will be gathering the equipment because to get the one piece of equipment.
I heard it as I'm ready to suit up and get in there. It was
No,
like
no,
I
no.
have it. Let's suit up.
No,
you need
that's
to
fair.
get the armor.
I got to get
then
the stuff to suit up.
I see the suit up. I
Yep,
see
yep.
it. That makes sense to me.
But that's what we have, and then what we usually go over is what we've been watching and what we've been playing. Real quick, everyone saw it on stream. If you haven't, the VODs will be up here soon. I think by the end of Sunday, all the VODs will be up. But I finished Last of Us 2. Mm-hmm. I really liked it. I think I'm settling on an 8 out of 10 for me.
That's a really great score.
I think it's a great. I think it was good. There were a couple. I think the very end of the third act. I don't even know, like almost like an epilogue, a little bit, kind of tripped for me. But everything up to that point was great. So yeah, I think
I'd call it a third act. I don't know if I'd call it an epilogue.
it's so short though in comparison to everything else. It was like maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, but acts don't have to be, and probably shouldn't be, evenly timed.
I guess that's true. I don't know. I guess the third act kind of tripped up for me. But I really enjoyed it. I do think I'm just terrible at stealth games, so that will always hurt me in these games. Because as soon as I sneak by like 2 people, I'll get fined by the third, and all of a sudden there's 12. And I'm like, I didn't even see half of you when I was stealthing originally.
Well, the stealth in this game is different than like Ghost Recon or Assassin's Creed, where it's like you can hit a certain button to escape. You
Yeah.
can just smoke bomb, or you can teleport away if it's like Shadow of Mordor or something.
Yeah.
But then also, it's not the objective is to kill everyone in the camp. It's like, no, there's a door on the other side you have to go through.
Yep.
So a lot of it is like, if you kill this person, you will be found. They run a loop tied to somebody else's loop that they will always be found unless you're like really that good, I guess.
Yeah.
But the optimization that they require. Naughty Dog's more like how can you get through here without killing anybody?
Yeah, and I think most of the time would have been fine to just get through the door and stuff, but it's always they put that door there where you're like holding triangle, and she's taking 80 years to open a door for some reason. You're like, you're in the situation.
Who locked this
you
door?
know how strenuous this is. Like, you have to get through this door or you die. Why are you going so slow? But that's okay. Other than that, like little story beat things here or there. Overall, I really liked it. So, and it's pretty. It's a pretty game. I didn't even play the remaster.
Played the standard version, the PS4 version. You did it on a PS5, so there's probably something upscaled there.
But it's just pretty, which is great.
Yeah.
Especially for a heavy story game like that, like you want something pretty to look at for the however long you're in it. So.
Yeah. Well, I was not to put salt on it, but the audio is also really great.
Oh yeah,
the surround sound kind of 3D audio, because that was one of Sony's big selling points for the PS5 was this 3D audio tech, whatever. Yeah. But with the right plugins, with the right 3D attached, it's all up to snuff.
I think last stream I did have good audio, like I could hear everything.
Yeah.
So the ending. I ended up getting all the good stuff. So most of the beginning I did not.
Yeah.
But I think I figured it out audio-wise. I think I understand it a little bit better. Not audio as a whole. Audio for streaming.
You're 9,995 hours away from understanding audio.
Oh, man. Well, I just had the issue today. So when we do the other editing, I've got the audio. I put it into Audition, turn it up, export it, put it into Premiere. It's too quiet. So I turn that up and I go, let me make another edit in Audition. So I use the file that I have in Premiere and I bring it into Audition to like make a
double crank it, huh?
It's not that. I just wanted to drop out the back noise a little bit more.
Sure.
But I just wanted to do an Audition so I could just link the files. I open Audition, every single thing is peaked. And I'm like, how is it peaked in Audition? But Premiere says I'm not even close to peaking.
If only those softwares were made by the same company.
If only they just
and if only they spoke to each other correctly,
I don't know what
audio mixing. You go to professional YouTube channels where it's like this is their whole gig. You're seeing the high production value, and just two different videos is like, how are you guys mixing this different? Like,
yes.
I don't know. Because I don't also B, well, editor A and B, but also it's like I'll have 10 videos that sound great and then one that's super quiet. Or one that's super high, Mm-hmm. I don't know. Movie trailers do it. Like there's just a ton of things.
It's also crazy because I feel like for a while there was a time where you could turn on the TV and watch a movie, and you could just turn it up to a volume and you could just leave it at that volume and watch it.
Well, you know this because you just came over recently and we watched whatever we watched. I don't even remember.
We watched the Zack Snyder.
Was that the last thing we watched?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, because I was like, for Netflix it's 60.
Yeah.
But for YouTube, it's 15.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about my soundbar numbers. I think you and I both have a Samsung soundbar, maybe an LG, but we had similar numbers. That was like, no, you're gonna want to do 60 on Hulu, 15 on YouTube.
For me, recently,
40 on Plex.
It's if there's music, I have to turn the TV down. If there's dialogue, I have to turn the TV up, no matter what I'm watching.
Oh,
just
really?
All the time. And I don't know how we've got to this point.
Yeah, you have an LG TV, right?
Yes.
Yeah, when you got the matching LGs. Yeah, your soundbars, are they LG?
It's Samsung.
Yeah, so I learned this the hard way because I was all about the Samsung soundbar having the extra center channel speaker to separate dialogue.
Yeah.
You have to run it through the HDMI port to do that, so it can like catch the full unedited video like signal.
Run the soundboard, so not through the
so like say it's coming from the Apple TV, right?
Yeah.
I plug the Apple TV into the soundbar.
Oh.
As a out of Apple TV into soundbar. Soundbar has a second HDMI that is out soundbar into TV. So it runs through the filter before it hits the television. Oh, problem with that, my soundbar doesn't output 4K because it also has to in order to filter. Right? I was getting bottlenecked that way. But also, as I was testing, before I even realized that, it wouldn't filter out the sound because it wasn't sending it to a Samsung TV, which I was like, what does that matter? You assholes.
Wow.
Like
why did we fall this far from grace?
Well,
I don't understand.
You and I are both very now like we're not anti-Samsung, but we're both like, why are you hurting us so bad? Like you're supposed to be the good guy.
I had a Samsung TV, Samsung soundbar. My brother got a Samsung
and
washer
they were
dryer.
Great. I mean,
and
so
they've all crapped out.
What Samsung, I don't want to get on a rant about selling TVs, but what Samsung does do well if you're not looking at an OLED, is they're brighter than the sun.
Yeah.
So if you have, in the case of my parents, they have a TV in front of them and huge bay windows, no curtains, and the curtains they do have that are light are like sheer curtains.
Yeah.
Behind
they're not
them.
blackout curtains.
And he's watching live TV. He's watching sports. So I'm like, you could do a Sony, get the motion rate to like have the hyper smoothing, whatever, but on a sport, channel, it looks good. It's you want that. But they were like, no, we want the brightness because it's too glary, it's too whatever. So I got that, and I was like, all right, well then we'll do the Samsung soundbar, and for the same reasons you want. They're old. They're like, oh, the explosions, turn that down.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the dialogue again. They're whispering. Let's turn it back up. I was able to get it to work, and it's a miracle.
How it just works?
It's just like, well, it's a miracle that it works.
Right.
That's true. But also, I'm like, this is night and day. I'm not a subtitle user. I actually really like my soundbar as is, all the same. I would do a different setup. I would do wired if I was doing it over again. Or if I were to upgrade, I'd be doing a whole different thing. But for someone who uses subtitles, my family and most everyone else I know, that was a game. It is like staggering. I was like, I have to get used to this. It is so loud they're speaking when the explosions are also loud. I'm not used to it.
Wow.
And it's great. It's like watching at a theater in that kind of mixing sense.
For me, it's not even that I'm like old, like I want to turn the things down, but
You have neighbors.
I have neighbors.
They don't have
wall
neighbors.
connected.
They're doing it for their own
If I lived in a
ears, I
house,
guess.
I'd be like, I'll just turn it all up, and the
Which we do.
explosions will be loud.
Which
Cool,
we
who cares?
do. We don't have
Yeah.
issues. I mean, when you come over, I mean.
Right. So,
Yeah, that was like my number one reason for wanting a house. I swear to God. I think about it
makes
now and I'm
sense.
like, well, way down the line, empty nest thing. I'm just are we going to downsize? Are we going to have a condo in fucking whatever, Malibu? I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't live next to somebody. I love that bass just cooking.
Well, for me, I was just thinking about, because we're thinking about switching rooms for stream and stuff, and I was like, oh, if we switch rooms, we're probably, it's a closet and a staircase, quote unquote, space away from the bedroom next to us, but that's probably their bedroom, because the units will be like flip flopped where the staircase is and stuff. So
I don't think it is though.
it's not.
It's like a perfect mirror. So it would go bedroom, staircase, bedroom. Well,
Right.
closets in the middle.
But I'm just like, before, if they say they're in bed and where we're streaming now, it's like kitty corner.
You had the diagonal.
Yeah. Now might put them next to it, and I'm
Yeah.
a little worried about that. But there's still enough space.
You've got
I feel
so
like.
much more space.
And
that
I don't stream.
You're not a yeller.
Yeah, I don't. And if I yell, it's also I do it
The
before
fact
10 o'clock.
The
Like, I don't
fact
stay up
that
late.
our buddy Derek didn't have this issue in the same condos as you because he was doing it from his bedroom at the time.
Oh yeah.
The fact that he is a screamer. He's not a yeller, he's a screamer.
Yeah.
He never had any issues with that. And he's had complaints from his neighbors regarding other things that he's
Okay.
done. And yelling, screaming, never been one of them.
All right, then I won't worry about it too much.
And also you can think Bastion with Baby. They never had issue
Oh, yeah.
never had issue with sound coming from
yeah,
Baby
I
across to the
rarely
other-
hear the neighbor. Every once in a while, if everything's quiet in my house and I'm sitting there like reading something on a tablet or a phone or whatever, I'll hear their TV, but I can't even tell what it is.
You'll hear noise,
Yep.
yeah, more than sound. Yeah, I get that.
Cool. So,
Anyway.
what have you been playing?
We talking? How did we get to that?
I don't remember. I was Last of Us sound.
Oh yeah, the 3D audio,
3D audio,
and
yeah, you
get
know,
to the
there's a-
ups and the
there's a
downs.
trail.
And we're talking about mixing. 15 on YouTube, 60
Yeah,
on Hulu,
yep.
and
So-
Netflix. Yeah,
And really, this whole goal right now is just to prove to Shay over there that Stokes does do a podcast, because she doesn't believe him ever. So we're really
That's true.
we're really nailing it in right now.
yeah. That's
We even
the
backtracked
function.
and like
Oh,
flashback.
there,
and
that's
our
for
own
you.
thing.
That's for you. Yeah. Shay, did you get 100 on all of them? Yes. Great to hear.
So, have you been playing any of their games?
Yes.
What have you been playing?
Why don't you play First Descendant anymore?
Why don't I?
Yeah.
I just, it wasn't, so, it was a game that I was just playing and it's kind of mindless. And then I would play with the crew, and then we all played and we all kind of got caught up to a point. And then it was like, cool, well, they're releasing new stuff. I want to do the new stuff. We haven't even finished the old stuff, but I'm also waiting for you guys to finish the old stuff. So I was like in this middle ground where I was just like repeating things, trying to get drops instead of like moving forward. I still like the game, but I just was like, okay, well, now that I'm streaming and stuff, I'll stream solo stuff and whatever. But
Yeah.
I'm still into it. Like if someone's like, hey, you want to play? I'll be like,
If-
oh yeah, that'd be sweet.
Magical made up world. This
Yep.
isn't true. Don't take it as truth.
Okay.
Imagine I were playing First
Oh my
Descendant.
God, that's so awesome to hear.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, what
I
was it?
can't believe it.
What?
Imagine I'm doing that.
Yep.
You know I'd be caught up.
Yeah.
Or at least to where you're at.
Yep.
Or I'd wait or something.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have played more? If it was like we're doing duos, like pretend Bethany, Alec, they didn't like it.
Yeah.
Maybe even because James played it, right? So this could have been a Thursday replacement.
Yeah.
It could have been something.
No, if someone else was playing it, if anyone's playing any game, I'm more apt to spend more time into it. How many league games have I played and I'm like, I can't understand this game just because other people are playing?
I'm so sorry for that. I still play every once in a while, and again, I apologize. But I was just wondering, like, if we were to be doing it, would it be something you'd be like, no, I want to play it more, like I want it on a Thursday. I like having the mindless game because it's nice when eventually there's a point, right? The story's done.
Yep.
It's just endless grinding.
Yep.
I know that there's still going to be power level gated things. It's like you're still over leveled that you're helping me level at this point, or because we can't be 1-to-1 matched the whole way. But is that still something where you're like, no, I like having an endless game?
I like having an endless game.
Because I liked having, it wasn't super endless because here I am at the end, but Destiny 2, it was like, well, I'll always have something to do. I could always go level a weapon. I could always get a catalyst. I could always grind for a title or an emblem or something.
And much as Jess pointed out, I think when we first started doing the podcast, when I was like, oh, I max leveled a character. And she's like, I think your max level and my max level is different. I was like, yes, you're right. I got to level 40 and then reset once and got to level 40 again. But you can do that so many times to get your kit spec'd out to the max that it can be. So even if it's like,
well, and then you've got more kits.
Yep.
It's like
more characters.
There is no end. There's like literally no such thing. What up, Sfeel?
Hey, Sfeel. I mean, for me, I did Volby, and I've run through Volby 2 or 3 times now to get to level 40 again. And then they dropped Ultimate Volby, and I was like, well, I'm going to unlock Ultimate Volby and then have to start from scratch essentially over again.
This is a sub conversation. Do you remember what Ultimate was? I don't remember. Was it like buff stats or something?
Yeah, overall buff stats. I don't remember the numbers to
do
stuff.
You probably need a Volby to turn into an Ultimate Volby?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, I hear that and I'm like, it's just so strange to me that there's just like, oh, here's this one and then here's better this one.
It is weird. Like
I don't, because so what I'm getting at is these types of games, or First Descendant isn't alone in what it does and how it plays. I've just never played anything like it, where it's like you go to these pockets of open world and there's a lot of missions that are repetitive and it's grindy, but it's not hard grindy like Elden Ring kind of thing.
Right.
It's like, no, you're going to kill the same 8,000 enemies. It's like Diablo in that, where I'll kill hordes of things to eventually get an item drop or whatever it is. For First Descendant, it's a lot of menus. It's putting the augmentations, whatever they were called, and having those upgrade. And it was like, man, everything has a menu. Everything can be customized. It was just endless. Well, a lot of people have abandoned the Destiny ship, as I have, including Derek, Tim. They're just like, yeah, so that game's dead, right? Like, we're done. And I was like, every time I hop back on, it's in the spring or summer. I don't know why. It's just maybe because that's when their content's supposed to drop before they inevitably delay it. Mm-hmm. But I get on at that time. Halloween season's over, and I'm like, I should have just got in Halloween and just bought the Witch's Broom Sparrow and the Black Cat Ghost or whatever.
Yeah. I
might be on for that because I still have some currency left.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm like on the brink of just uninstalling it because of all the shitty news and there's no forward and all that. So I was like, okay, what's another game that could fill that? And the easy comparison I always hear is Warframe.
Warframe?
Which, free to play. It's on every console. It's well optimized, runs on everything. It's been going for 15 years or whatever. It has a softer story, but it's still a story. And I hopped in for the first time, and I was so fucking confused. Like,
okay.
I was like, dude, there's 8 billion menus in this game, and I just don't know where to start. So I watched YouTube. I ended up uninstalling it. Okay. This was like 2 weeks ago. I saw somebody who was one of those Destiny content creators slowly get into it, and I just clicked on a recent video, and I was like, oh shit, you're talking serious stuff now. You got there. So I started watching his progressions and like what did he do and how did he play and what was he learning, and dude, that guy's so lucky he has a chat of 1,500 people that he can just be like, oh, I have a question. Oh, there's my answer.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Why is this?
I got my second monitor. I'm Googling shit as I'm going. But as I'm playing, I'm like, oh, the way that these resources work and blueprints and blah, blah, blah. It is First Descendant, which was my first of those types of games. Mm-hmm. Except it's just more of what I like. And it's been around for however long, so it's more fleshed out. The systems work really well. Like I said, it's available everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
everyone's essentially a space ninja. Like your clans are called dojos.
Oh, okay.
And your guilds or whatever. It was just like all that kind of stuff. And as I was playing, I was like, man, I really like the fluid movement of this. I like the weapon variety. And then as I was, again, listening to people tell me why this game's so great, one of the things was like, oh, the content's always free. And they're like, here on your ship, here's where you get all this stuff. Here's the battle pass. You can't pay for it. There is no paid battle pass. There's no premium track. There's a way in the shop where you'd go to spend real money. It's one big button right at the top. You click it, and it only shows you things that you can buy with in-game currency, like things you can grind for and stuff. And I was like, wow, these guys are really good at not taking my money. And they have login bonuses that make everything in the store half off for the paid currency. So I was like, wow, this stuff's really well priced. What does it cost to get one of the? Oh, it's $3. I was like, this is all. It's all working out money wise. And I've been taking to the play pretty well that I was like, I don't know if I should give this more time. I don't know if we should give it more time.
Are we switching out Overwatch for Warframe on Thursday?
I don't know if we have to do that or if you want to do that or if James is into it. But I did have that thought of James playing competitive PvP. I was like, I don't think he takes to that. But I know James would put 1.5 billion hours into a game he can play solo and on his PlayStation in the same account and and then just come and play. Yeah, Warframe, we're talking Warframe.
Yeah, and you've always been more PvE too, so
yeah. But I'm loving Overwatch.
I mean, Overwatch.
I don't know what it is about Overwatch.
Overwatch has got you.
Well, I think the difference in that is like it's PvP, but I can be a support. But it's not a MOBA. Watching Andy Cortez play Deadlock today, which I did give a try. I did, so that's another one. I played Deadlock.
Okay,
not for me.
Oh, really?
It's just not fleshed out enough yet that it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel smooth. I'm like, oh man, I'm playing a polished game like Overwatch. Polished Warframe, Cyberpunk now feels polished.
Yeah.
I'm playing all these games. I'm playing like done things, and then this one is actually in early access, actually in a beta that I had to get an invite parasitically delivered to me, and so it's not their fault. The game's gonna do great. It doesn't need me right away.
Okay, that makes sense. I tried Warframe, but the fast, super floaty fluid movement gave me a headache, especially in close quarters. Says Nate.
Yeah, it's something to get used to because it's like, oh, how to master movement. Just push these 7 buttons in a row and you'll roll and then you'll slide and then you'll jump forward and then you double jump, which propels you even more forward. And you can slide in the air to like land and keep your momentum. And it's like one of those old Flash games where you're like, W lifts one knee and E lifts, and you have to like hit this fucking crazy suplex. The
Warframe, I know the game. I think I downloaded and played it for like 3 minutes. I didn't really play it. But every time I think of Warframe, I think of that Xbox, I think 360 game with the dude sliding on the ground and the cover.
Oh, I want to say Split Second, but that's the racing game.
It's something like that, though.
Vanquisher?
Is it Vanquisher? Because you slide like
dude,
all over
trust
the place, right?
I beat this game in like 7 seconds.
I think that's the game.
It was such a short game. Let's see. Dude, Vanquish. It's this one,
Vanquish,
right?
Yeah,
just Vanquish.
But that's the guy I think of. He's not in Warframe, but
that's so
in my
funny.
head, I think
Vanquish
of
was a great game.
Because as soon as you're like sliding through, I'm like, oh, maybe Vanquishers is more. Maybe Vanquish is more like this.
It's the inspiration.
Yeah.
Well, it was actually Warframe had a trailer come out for like a much slower paced game. Like there are people walking through a mall, and it's like called like Warframe 1999, I think.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea what that is or how it ties in. Is it a separate game? Is it in the same world? Is it a book? Is it like, dude, I don't know anything about this. But I was like, oh, Warframe is like expansive. It keeps going and people really dig it. So, and I'm getting the content delivered to me because it's from the funnels that I would get Destiny content normally.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I can watch a Destiny player play this and compare things for me. And it's also really funny because he's somebody who had like 150K subs. Now he's like, since doing Warframe, he's got maybe 10 videos of Warframe out. He's gone up to like 350.
Wow.
His average views, he had some ones that like blew up, but his average views were like 60, 80, really good for having 100. Like it was like, oh wow, that's almost everyone who subs watching. But now it's like steady 3 figures, steady 120, steady 150. And I'm like, well, no fucking wonder you're jumping ship. Like, and if you try typing in other Warframe videos, they don't make them as good as this guy. So I was like, oh, okay. I can see where they're like, oh my God, we have a real creator coming to our game.
Yeah.
We will help you. I will get, the gifting system, and that is another thing. I'm like, dude, you're getting everything gifted to you. Like, you have every frame, you have every,
Yeah.
I was like, you son of a bitch.
I mean, I honestly thought when I was looking into getting into Beyblade, trying to find good Beyblade content, not like content about like getting into it. Like, there's a lot of great people that make content that are really great. Like, these are the bays, is all this different. I've got a couple different
informational,
people.
but like play, strategy,
tournament, that stuff. I'm
yeah,
like,
coverage.
Why is there no way to like watch this in a good way? It's very weird.
I mean,
But
it's Beyblade. I understand more. It's for me. It's Pokemon TCG. How does that only have 2 people? Like, I mean, you could probably find others, right?
Oh, right, yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm not talking collector. I'm talking play. There are 2.
there are essentially 2 content creators for it.
Yeah, and it's just like,
And
what?
they're both really good
They're-
at
oh,
what they
oh,
do.
Oh my God! Well, because they're both tournament grinders, tournament
Yeah.
winners, and they both almost kind of carve 2 different niches. The let me build a new deck every day. I have my VODs come out. I do it live or whatever, and then let me talk about the air, like what the air of the game is right now, and we'll play a deck, and we'll do a pre-release, and we'll do and I'm going to collect a little bit, and I'll show you about my trip to Japan.
Yeah,
It's just like,
They're
wow,
both
you
really
really
good.
have them all kind of covered.
yeah. But
I think I saw that Tricky Jim just had a baby.
congrats.
Congrats, Tricky Jim.
Congrats.
That's an I think though. So
Maybe
Maybe congrats,
I
maybe
think
get fired.
congrats then. I talked to you one time in a terrible situation at an event that I didn't realize until later was a bad time to talk to you, but you were still nice to me. Thank you very much.
thanks, Jim.
Yep. Cool. So we got through essentially games. So what you're saying is I should go home and download Warframe for in future
If
we
you
want
care to. If you care to. I did try it on a controller because there's an anticipated Steam Deck in my future. So I've been thinking with Steam Deck in mind. I'm like, I'll play Dredge, I'll do my Stardew Valleys, I'll do whatever. But I'm like, what game do I want that's like I can always put it on, I can always go mindless with it. And that was Destiny for me, or Assassin's Creed, which there will be a new one of those coming out, but for the first 75 hours of Assassin's Creed, it's actually not mindless,
Right.
Because I do give a shit and I role play it in a way.
yeah.
But after that,
then it's go.
then
here,
it's like
collect this.
I just my collectathon. I'm just like, let me
yeah.
complete the map. There's a guy dead. Oh, there's a guy dead.
Cool.
So yeah, we can do
Well,
movies.
I'll get it downloaded just in case on a Thursday we want to throw an Audible instead of an Overwatch or something.
and it'll be one of those ones that I'll have on.
Okay.
You'll just see me playing sometimes and join
I've
whenever.
been wanting a Steam Deck too. I got 200 plus games on Steam, says Nate. Dope.
I'm in
a lot
the
of games.
hundreds, but I don't know. I don't buy or download many games that are like in bundles or games I'm like, I could get to that. And having Game Pass on the regular,
Yeah.
that has saved me from like right now. No Man's Sky they're doing like a space themed sale. No Man's Sky is like $24.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's a perfect Steam game. And I was like, wait, Steam lets you like link out to other portals or whatever, so I could I don't have to buy Diablo 4 again. But even then, when that's $25, I'm like, oh, maybe I should buy it again just so I can
Right.
have it on Steam. I imagine that's where Nate's gotten caught a couple times.
Neither did I. These are mostly single purchases, he says.
Oh,
That's a
damn.
lot of games.
Yeah,
I mean, like I have a lot of games.
probably
but it's
PC
all just
gaming
Game
longer
Pass.
than me too. I was very console focused until 18, probably 2018. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did PC game, but I had my games. I didn't play PC games. It was like I played Rainbow Six Siege. I played Valorant. I played Overwatch. Like I had like the shooter games. I didn't. And then
Yeah.
I had a couple. There's a lot of extra games I got on Steam for stream. There was a lot of like escape rooms, like those weird ones
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But
I know
even
what
that
you're saying.
is in the tens, not in the hundreds. You know what I mean? Or even the 20s, 30s. It's like I
Yeah.
bought 10 extra games for stream. That's about it.
yep.
So cool.
Movie time.
Movie time. Let's get into what we watched. How many? We talked about The Crow last time, right?
Anyway,
Dude, I was listening to a podcast where this guy's like, "Yeah, I went and saw The Crow." And the guy's like, "I saw The Crow too." He's like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited to talk about it with you." They're like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude." And they just start ripping it apart, but in in a way that they almost cherish the experience about how bad it
well,
was.
that's what we had, right?
100%. But then they're like, dude, when he went full crow, the crow going full crow, that's real crow shit right there. And I was
What does that
dying.
mean?
It's just when he's
Yeah.
in the opera getting
Sure,
shot. It's
yeah.
like, it's like full crow mode. Yeah. When all of a sudden the pain he feels, no longer he doesn't feel that pain. It was like,
I
yeah,
did just think
do
about
remember.
him popping the thing back in.
Oh, yeah.
Before it healed. I was like, woo!
That was a good one.
That was a good visual. Anyway.
So I have 2 movies I rewatched and 1 new one that I watched, and that's it, really.
Oh, okay. Pretty easy.
Been watching a lot of One Piece. I think I've gotten through like 20 episodes recently, so which isn't a lot, but also a lot. So, but I rewatched The Mummy. Perfect, amazing. Gave it a thumbs up. These things weren't on my letterbox. You know?
Well, I have a couple. Yeah, go ahead.
I also rewatched Van Helsing. We talked about it in the most recent Last of Us stream. Van Helsing's so good, perfect. I love it.
No, great thumbs up rewatches.
Yep. And
This is why they're being rewatched, is because they would have been thumbs up already.
Exactly. And I was like, well,
Did you
they do have to go on the
did you
list, so.
put on, because when you're adding the diary entry, this is letterbox lore.
Mm-hmm.
You can put I've seen this before is literally what they call the button.
Let's see.
So when you hit it, it says like, oh, this was a rewatch. Because one of your things in your diary will be like, here's new movies, here's rewatched movies, here's like.
So when I click this, is that I've seen this film? So that's checked. I've seen it before.
Yep.
Okay.
And then now it'll just put like a little kind of recycle sort of symbol next to it of like, yeah, you've been here before. This is retread.
Gotcha. All right. Cool.
Well,
save that.
the only reason I mentioned that is because one of my 3 entries, I put that rewatch and I realized I don't use that. Like a couple weeks ago or whatever, 3 weeks, I watched AVP.
Yep.
I had already seen that.
Yeah.
I didn't. Alien Covenant. Prometheus. Like I didn't put any of these but then I put Twisters. Well, I guess that's because I actually watched that twice.
You actually watched that twice?
Recently, since I've been letterboxing. But I noticed one of my movies, I put the rewatch on. And I was like, I think that'll be every year I'm going to try to, because they do calendar year, like almost like Spotify Wrapped.
Yeah.
They do that kind of in review. And I'm like, I need to, when I put a movie in, I'm very just like, oh, let me quick.
Yeah, I wanna
I'm like,
make sure I
let
get
me
it.
put tags. Let me put like everything but an actual 4 or 5 star kind of review.
Hi, Kyle. How's it going?
Hi, Kyle.
Hi, Kyle.
The way you said that.
Sorry.
Dude, I haven't seen that turtle in forever. I didn't know that was still there.
It's still there. The Ranger, everything. Yeah.
Oh, the bearded turtle, dude. That's
Bearded turtle. Look at these guys.
it gives me chills. I don't know if I've ever said this, Brent. That motherfucker creeps me out. That guy scares me. I don't know if I've ever liked him, but you know what? You guys do what you need.
It is. So I was going to go in and I was going to do new ones because I was like, we don't really do the bearded turtle stuff anymore. But I don't know if it's since we did streaming before, they released like affiliates get more options. But I felt like I had so many things that I could do. And I'm like, I felt like we did things to the max when we were doing it before. We had to like get bigger to unlock more options.
Oh,
but
okay. I was like, I remember being locked away from.
Yeah, but I feel like I think we can have like 10 or 15
emote.
Like, and I'm like, there was like 5 last. I don't know when that changed or if I was just blind. That, and then there was something else where I'm like, why do I have access to all this? It's so weird. So I don't know if they changed it recently, but
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is much more than I have time for right now. But I do plan on going in, changing, adding different things and stuff of the like. Do you have a lot of movies that are your first time watches?
No, but I can get a rewatch real quick. I rewatched the 2016 Blair Witch.
Oh, okay.
Just talking about folk horror. I was down at a friend's house. They were feeling a scary movie. We just watched one that I'll bring up in a second. And they're like, do you have something like actually kind of scary? And I was like, yeah, what are you feeling? Like, do you have anything? They're like, I don't know. And last time I was there, we watched The Ritual.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, we could just, have you seen the Blair Witch? There.
Yeah.
And no, they hadn't. Well, the new one.
The new one.
And I was like, yeah, let's throw it on.
Cool. Did
And
they find it scary?
We had yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Well, at least tense, because you'll see in comparison to the one I have before it. But
Okay.
yeah, same kind of criticisms, but it still got a heart. I was like, I don't know why that movie. It's got like a 25% or 30% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
I'm like, that's stupid.
I thought that movie was good.
I've
And I walked
always
in ready to
enjoyed it.
hate it because I was like, Blair Witch is high on my list.
yeah I follow people on here. I have friends that I've added to Letterboxd. Its highest rating amongst my friends is 2.5 stars.
Wow.
I'm like, man, y'all haters.
That's crazy. You need new friends.
Well, like I said, they're friends because that's what you call someone you follow. They don't follow me back.
Oh, okay.
I don't know these people. They wouldn't know me, but
Gotcha. Okay. I got one more. How many do you
give
have?
it to me, dude.
I watched The Union on Netflix with Mark Wahlberg.
The fuck is The Union?
That's a great question. Does this give me descriptions?
If you click into it,
There we go. Old flame, new mission. A New Jersey construction worker goes from regular guy to aspiring spy when his long-lost high school sweetheart recruits him for an espionage mission.
You can show me the poster.
It's got Mark Wahlberg and
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry and a bunch of other people. I was just trying to get down. Halle Berry, J.K. Simmons, the guy that I know but can't pronounce his name. Jackie Earle Haley's in it.
Okay, I got to see who
Here.
you're thinking. I have no idea who that is.
Oh, you don't know him?
No.
He's in.
His name's Adewale.
Yeah, Adewale.
But I don't know.
I can't. I'm sorry, Adewale. You're.
I'm looking at a photo of him. Oh, he's in The Mummy Returns. Well, that's why you know him.
Yeah, he's like the dude that like.
You couldn't.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I wish I could. Yeah, Adewale Ikinuye Agbaje.
I'm glad you're brave enough to take the shot.
I'll try it.
You're trying it.
Anyway,
it was fun.
The Union.
It was. What's the best way to
Big Latin? I don't know if you can say that, Nate.
What do they call that?
Maybe the way I said it.
For games, the shovelware. This is Netflix shovelware. You know, that's what these movies are.
Shovelware.
And it's so.
Damn.
Sometimes that's all I want. Sometimes that's all I need is just put Mark Wahlberg on the TV, press play.
What's crazy
go
though
around and have
is
some fun.
We'll use shovelware as the term you said.
Yep.
Is you say you need shovelware, but you'll click it and you'll sit and you'll put your fucking eyeballs on it and you'll watch the whole movie. I don't know if you did that with this one. You might be doing something in the background, you might whatever. But you're just like, man, I just need something. But I'm like, for you to watch the whole time. Shay's been hype on this new TV show, a Discovery of not new, it's new to her. Discovery of Witches from AMC. It's on Shudder. She read the books. She started the show with Fallon. Fallon abandoned us, and she just didn't go back to the show.
Never see them again.
They're gone.
Dead
Forever.
days.
Forever. They. That's not true. So she's been watching it again. We're putting up Halloween decorations.
Yep.
And she's just got an episode playing in the background, and we're putting stuff up. I'm like, Shay, you should pause this. Why aren't you watching this? Like, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This person's like coming up here doing all this crazy witch shit. They're just time walking. They're doing all this whatever.
Well, if she read it, she probably knows exactly
and
what's
I was
happening,
like,
right?
And I was like, but she's never seen the show.
That's fair.
How do you know that? You'll never know if they changed anything, right? It's just crazy to me that I'm like, how can you put on a TV? She does that with Supernatural. I get it. Okay. 1, she's seen it. 2, it's one of those. It's the monster of the week. It has 600 episodes or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I just can't picture doing that. I was like, Shay, there's only 25 episodes. You're just going to miss one? That's crazy to me. I can't. Maybe that's why I watch TV so poorly, is because I sit and I put my eyeballs on it the whole time.
Yeah. Well, because
I'm not on my phone. I'll answer a call or a text. Like, I'm not off my phone. I'm not in a theater doing this, but I'm just like, my attention is so focused on the thing. I need a movie.
Well, here's the thing, because I'm going to come at you. Even with movies, 70% of what's out there doesn't need your undivided attention to be good.
No, well, you're right. Because it's shovelware. That's what, you're right. That's why I'm saying you're crazy, is because you'll take the shovelware and you'll watch it. You'll put your eyeballs on it for seemingly the whole time.
This was for I think I was doing laundry, like load after load after load, because we're shifting laundry down. Whatever. So I was like, I'm going to be here and I'm waiting for wash. And when it ends, I want to be on it and not like in the middle of something else, because I want to keep it rolling. So it was, let me put something on, full laundry, take care of all the laundry. Cool. Come sit for however long till the next load's done, shift it all around. I'm like watching it while my hands are doing something. It's like when I watch streams over on the computer while I edit. Like, I'll be editing, but I'll have a whole stream over here. But I catch probably a good chunk of what's happening. Anything that's I miss that seems like crazy, I back up 10 seconds. Oh, okay. Same thing.
I mean, I've done that with a movie before. That one, maybe I've watched it already, so I just want the noise. Or it's something that it's like, I don't know. I can't think of a really good example, but I'm checking off the list, or it's like before another movie.
Gotcha.
You know, I guess Beetlejuice kind of covers. I've already seen it too, but if I were to put that on in the background, I wouldn't feel like I'm missing something. But I can't. A new piece of media. The closest I've been is sorting cards with a movie in front of me, and I just don't do it anymore because I can't. I just look too much.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, I'm getting nothing done.
To me, it's like I'll look at a movie and go like, this looks okay. I can give it my okay amount of attention and get other things done. But if something like this looks good, then I'm in. I'm hooked, seatbelt on, hands and legs inside the vehicle at all times. You know, I'm going. But if it's like, it looks okay, I might as well put it on.
Yeah, it's so funny because we don't watch fodder here. I think we've done it one time. Not here, but you and I don't watch fodder. But I think we did with Secret Invasion.
Yeah, we did.
But outside of Secret Invasion,
we got a lot done.
It's like when we watch something, even if it's bullshit, we're doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
So I've only ever known you to be we're not often, unless the movie's real bad, we're not talking.
Oh, yeah,
We're
yeah.
not on the phone. We got all the lights down. We've got the volume cranked. Our food's in our laps. Like we're ready.
Yep.
You know? So then you go, yeah, put on the Union. I'm like, how can those things exist together?
Because
How
they're
can
different
you?
categories, dude.
It makes me think like your time is so valueless that you're gonna watch the shovelware, as you call it. I know you're doing something else.
Yeah.
Your time is not valueless. You argue it's so valuable that you have to do 8 things at once.
It makes it. Yeah, you got to do multiple things at one time to make it worthwhile.
I don't know. Speaking of shovelware, though, I watched Slaughterhouse.
Ooh, okay.
That's the one that was This was like a comedy.
Yeah.
We need to go into something spooky,
Like Zombievers.
Look
at that.
It's exactly Zombievers.
His time cannot be valueless. He literally removed all the doors off his house. I did. I have doors now because I'm married, but dude, every time I go like, but wasn't it great when we didn't have doors? And she's like, it was really nice. I'm like, so? And she's like, no.
Wait. What?
Because
Come again?
Bethany lived with me at the other house
No,
where I
yeah,
took
yeah.
out all the doors.
I remember. Yep.
So in this house that I'm in, I go,
Sure.
Wouldn't it be cool if we just didn't have the doors?
Why?
It's just in the way. That's all.
Well, you
they
don't
do
ever
is in the
shut
way.
them, right? So what are they in the way of? The wall space? Is that what you're thinking?
They're in the way from wall space.
Yeah. Yep.
They're in the way of because you open them, but they're still like you could. I have a problem. My pant pocket get caught on doorknobs all the time. I'm at like the perfect height where
but
doorknobs get caught
since you've
in my
gained
pants.
since you've gained doors, you've lost like 120 pounds. So you're fine.
But the door they still get caught. I don't know. They get caught in my pocket.
Your pocket.
My
Dude,
pocket.
I was thinking you were saying belt loop the whole time.
No, pocket.
Your pocket, the hole's facing the other way. How's that possible? Are you talking about on the knob?
Not as knobs as much as handles.
Actually, it doesn't matter. There should be nothing sticking out that catches your pocket.
The handle.
Backwards.
I get that. It happens to me too. Thanks, Nate. Like like the handle.
You guys walking out of your rooms backwards?
No,
You're
I
walking
don't know
in
how it
backwards?
works.
What?
It just happens.
How does a hole facing one way get jabbed in?
That's
Oh,
also
crazy.
too. Opening a door can cost you seconds, and you do that over and over and over again. How much time are you wasting opening doors? It's a lot of time. Think about every cupboard.
I don't close them.
But every cupboard door? How much of your life is wasted opening cupboard doors?
You didn't have cupboard doors.
I didn't have cupboard doors either.
To be fair, I'll give you this one. Having no cupboard doors is like a stylistic choice for some,
Yes.
especially where the cupboards are the divider between rooms.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a choice. I can agree with that. But I got cats that get into shit, man. I can't
that's
not
fair.
have, for cupboards. I can't not have cupboards.
Even the upper cupboards?
Because I don't have a pantry. What, is it going to stop a cat?
Yeah, man.
Take the doors off.
Okay.
They're all available to my. I mean, I could show you these. I could show you some crannies.
Okay.
That you're like, I didn't know there was a crack there, and I'm like, how'd they get on it? I got cats that are balancing on the top of a door. That's the kind of shit that I'm like, how'd you get there?
Okay. Well, if the door wasn't there, they wouldn't be able to balance there.
Well,
Just
that's
so
true.
you know.
That's true. Well, that one doesn't affect me. But when there's popcorn that high or something,
Oh,
it was
okay.
it was recently kettle corn. That's why Ivan ate.
Oh,
Ivan
I
ate
see.
kettle corn. But that's the kind of shit that I'm like, what we have to have the doors, and I don't have a pantry.
They're already popped.
The popcorn.
The popcorn.
Yeah,
No, I'm
the
thinking
one,
rice.
that.
Never mind.
The one that.
I was thinking like you can't do rice at weddings because they blow up birds, right?
They blow up birds.
Right? Doesn't
Like
the
they
rice blow up in
explode?
their stomach?
Let's move on.
Okay.
That's a crazy thing to say.
That's what I've been told.
Slaughterhouse got my heart.
Go ahead.
The movie was really funny and much better acted, much more just overall well made than I think it should have been.
Okay.
But it was really fun. Got a heart. Blair
had-
Witch got a heart.
Grain swells in birds' bellies. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Okay. I'm just saying.
So should you pre-puff the rice?
Well,
Is that the thing?
No,
Like you can only throw
I just
puffed
wanted
rice?
to make sure. In my head, it was popcorn, and I was like, "Is Ivan okay?" Because I thought in my head the bird was going to pop, but that's rice, not popcorn. So I had that confused.
Pop like that dog and infest it.
Exactly. Hey, Hokey.
Hopefully. Hey, Hokey was the one who cleaned up the popcorn. I wasn't at home, and he checked in on the cats for me.
Aw.
And he was like, "There's fucking popcorn everywhere."
Well done, Hokey.
Yeah, I haven't got into the old lazy Susan.
Not so lazy.
I like to think he just leaned against it.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
Anyway.
I also watched Strange Darling.
Yep.
I can't say anything about the movie.
Cannot. Sworn to
There will-
secrecy.
All I can say.
For audio listeners, that was 2 thumbs up.
Yep, that's all I got. I'm excited to see it again. And then after I watch it again, I'll probably buy it on Blu-ray, 4K, whatever it comes out. I'll probably watch it again. Although realistically, as we get to the news and we talk about things coming out this week, I don't think I'll be able to watch it again. Also, it's because it's such a small movie. Our theater is going to be kicking that shit out ASAP. It's
going to be gone
so
fast.
that they can put in more Deadpool, Wolverine. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Sweet.
You're up to date. Everyone's up to date.
Everyone's up to date. We're getting into movie news. So we're also going to be running through the show as right now it doesn't look like it. We're trying to run through it.
No, we'll get there at a good pace.
Okay.
We'll cook because we want it wrapped at 7:59.
Yes.
I got a whole pie over there to eat.
We got pizza. We've
pie.
got stuff to do, and we're filming again tonight. So we're on a tight schedule. We're trying to get through it.
True.
But we're going to get to everything that we want to get to. So getting into movies. Hold on. You see I did the right background?
Oh, I noticed. Nate, I did say pie. It's pizza pie.
Pizza pie.
It's meat pie.
That's not as good.
Because I got the pizza.
Yeah, you did get the pizza, yes.
I tried making it easy on Shay because otherwise I customized the Firebird too much. I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Makes sense.
Box office.
Yep. Hit me with it.
Money, cash dollars. We talked about it last week where like nothing's coming out. I don't know. Reagan. Has Dennis Quaid done anything? That movie came out to a more successful weekend than The Crow.
Dude.
Reagan.
Poor Lionsgate, dude.
Also, dude, going into IMDb and reading the review, I was like, how's this movie performing? Of course, the reviews are 9s and 10s, and it's just filled with the most right-wing propaganda you could ever imagine.
I was going to say, I think
like
if
Reagan
you
is,
check Rotten
Jesus
Tomatoes,
Christ brought back.
I don't know if it's still, I think Reagan had the biggest gap between audience and review score of all time.
Oh, like actually of all time,
I think so. This
Wow.
might have changed. But
Well, I'm going to movies to find out. I guess I might have to actually search for it because that's how useless this fucking Reagan movie is. You know? but again, it made more than The Crow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like 70-something
There's
right?
also the new there's the new one of the new badges I showed you.
Oh, yeah,
that it's not
verified,
just certified fresh. So Reagan comes in at a 98% audience review, over 2,500 verified ratings. It is not certified fresh; it's verified hot, baby.
Woo!
And then it's sitting at a 22% critic score, which is
77% different.
We're comparing a lot. Let's look at The Crow.
Yeah.
It's also a 22%,
Yes, but only a 64 audience.
which way higher than it should.
There
be.
was another movie. Actually, it's funny because I saw this was all a TikTok where they broke down what has the biggest things.
Hokey brings up a good point. We aren't thinking of the mid-credit scene of him burning in hell. That's great.
There wasn't a mid-credit scene.
No, we're talking about Reagan.
Ronald
Reagan
I thought
burning
you were
in
talking
hell.
about The
No, not
Crow,
The
and I was
Crow.
like, no, the whole problem with the end of the
would-
movie is
why
it doesn't.
You think Hokey's taking his limited time, his 3 movies a year? He's going to see The Crow.
Oh, here it is. I got it. Ronald Reagan. Oh, I already like this.
What are you showing me?
This is the guy that.
What are you showing me?
I'm not showing anything. I'm trying to figure out the other movies that were the bigger gap.
Well,
one
as
of my favorites, Grind,
Oh,
is one of my movies that I grew up with. Love that movie. It's got a 79% audience score and an 8% by critics. That's a pretty big one.
okay.
That was the one I was trying to think of. Best skate movie ever. See, everyone knows Grind. That's great.
Skate movie.
Its audience score is whatever I said, and then with a 79 and an 8% critic
70,
rating.
71%
So 71% difference. Reagan's even bigger than that.
76%
Yeah.
is Reagan.
Yep.
Yep. I wanted to point out that it almost beat out 2 weeks of The Crow. That The Crow week 1 plus The Crow week 2, it almost like Reagan almost beat it. It was it was hundreds
Crow
of
was
thousands.
4, right? 4.1 first week, I think.
Yeah.
So
It was. I think it was 4.6.
Or did it double?
I think it was 4.6, and it's sitting at a total of like 8.6.
Oh, okay. So
So I was like, oh wow, it's like actually reasonably close. I didn't even look at the international numbers of Reagan, but I probably should have because that's not a movie that does well.
It can't,
right? How did it get this much?
I don't know.
I mean, I can actually realize how it has that much because there's psychopaths out there, but whatever, all the same.
And we're not saying anything against if the movie's made well or Dennis Quaid does well, because they might be both made well and done well. I just don't know if it's a movie we needed, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's him taking down the commies.
Oh yeah, the new Crow is awful.
The only other news related to the box office was Alien Romulus. It didn't pass anything too spectacular, but it is now the highest grossing horror film of the year. It just passed A Quiet Place. And because I like to compare it, it's $285 million is what it's made worldwide on a budget of $80 million. So it's successful. It did the thing. It's getting its positive whatever. But Fede Alvarez doesn't make movies enough that I can say he's going to just make another Alien. Like, I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Like, was this worth it enough to him, or does he want to, like, because he did Property, his own title, Property. Is he going to do another, like, you know, make his own movie? But I also wanted to point out, I was interested, A Quiet Place was the highest grossing. It was advertised like crazy. What do you?
I'm just reading quotes and
Oh God,
Did
you're
you guys see
just
Jimmy?
laughing.
Jimmy was Jimmy. It's from. Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm so glad
Anyway.
people know grind. That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys do whatever you want. You just chuckle over there.
Off.
But A Quiet
Go
Place
ahead.
was a PG-13 movie that did as well as it did, and it was advertised like crazy. But Alien Romulus passed it as a rated R film. I'm personally, I just don't like it when horror movies go down to a PG-13 rating just to try to get the bigger audience. It's like, just make a better R movie and you'll get there.
You'll get there.
Anyway,
And this was A Quiet Place day one, right? That's the one that came out this year.
yeah, the day one.
I was making sure I didn't miss another Quiet Place.
There's always more quiet places to be missed,
Oh my
Brent.
God.
Don't worry. You'll always have another one.
Yep.
At this rate. We didn't watch any of the trailers.
This next thing got me really excited, just because there's a new one. Because
What do you think? We're going to see it? We're not going
It's
to.
not going to be in theaters.
No,
They're not
well,
gonna switch
I
it
mean,
out?
eventually, but it'll be like, a week before it comes
Well,
out.
I'm just saying,
Let's
like-
tell.
Okay, sorry.
There's a new Smile 2 trailer.
We've seen the Smile 2 trailer every time we've been to the theater.
It's a good trailer.
It was
They cut
okay
it. They
in the
cut it
beginning.
down. They cut it
have
down.
trimmed it a little bit. But
Yeah, they've trimmed away
Man,
parts
that
that were
trailer.
just deemed too scary. But yeah, so it gets a new trailer. It's funny though because we normally watch these trailers beforehand.
Yeah.
We didn't watch any of these. There were two in
we're
particular.
kind of up
Yeah, we were
to the gun today.
Yeah,
I'm trying to say something.
It was tough.
All right, see you later, Hokey.
Bye, Hoagie. So Smile 2 gets a new trailer. Finally.
Mm-hmm.
But here I am not watching it. Next time I go to the theater, which will probably be Beetlejuice. We'll get to that. But if I go see Beetlejuice, I'll probably get the same not Quiet Place,
Smile.
the same Smile trailer.
Probably.
Because I don't know, what's that movie called? Speak No Evil.
Yep.
The one that I love the original and I really don't know about this one. When they released a new trailer, I was like, at least it's a better trailer. And I still saw that same dog shit one for like 3 more weeks. And I was
Yeah.
like, damn it, they're doing it to me like that. Apartment 7A gets a new trailer. That's going to be premiering on Paramount. It is a prequel to Rosemary's Baby. It has a trailer. It's exciting. You know, it's been spoken about, and we knew it was all coming and whatever. Oh, Nate's getting A-list this month. Woo! We're going to go see more movies with Nate. New movie, Never Let Go. I have not heard of this. New horror film, Halle Berry. Namely, it's from Alexander Aja, though. Mm-hmm. Do you know what he's done?
No, the last name's more familiar than the first name.
Like Aja?
Yeah.
You're saying? He did High Tension, The Hills Have Eyes, Crawl.
The Hills Have Eyes remake?
A remake.
Yeah.
Well, that was Wes Craven.
I was just making sure. I was like, was there a different? I was just making sure.
No,
I
he
knew
did. He did the one that we all know with Ted Levine and.
Where he's got the axe and he flips it around. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
It's like the
Yeah,
one
yeah, yeah.
shot in my head. That movie.
Not Ted Levine burning alive.
No, it's literally. It's
I think of that one a lot.
It's a shot of him walking
or
with
like
the axe.
the scene that's like trouble. You know, like it hurts people's
There's like
brain
a lot
in
of
the
bad.
trailer.
There's a lot of bad stuff
or
in that movie.
The guy singing the Star Spangled Banner, the mutant with his head off the. Jose.
Yeah.
Come on, there's all that.
For me though, it's that shot where they got the axe and he does the.
And then
swings
hits him
down.
with the.
Dude,
it's the back, right? He like
yeah.
sticks him with the back.
with
yeah.
the spike. I'm
The
like,
spike, yeah.
Because it's like you already had pain up front, but you're like, I want to make it this much worse, and it
Yeah.
was like, I don't know why that stuck
Well,
with me.
and High Tension, you know, is part of the aughts. We'll call it a spree of French extremity, where they were doing that. They did Martyrs, they did Inside,
Yeah.
Shaitan, Frontiers. It changes names depending on languages, but the Voyagers in French, I think, is what it is. All of those movies are in High Tension. Still my personal favorite of all of them. Really love that movie. But to do High Tension, to do The Hills Have Eyes, which take it or leave it. I like it as a movie, but it's a lot. It's
a lot.
He's like, they saw what he did with The Extreme, and they're like, can you do that in America now? Like, let's do a Hollywood version of that. Crawl, which I actually have not seen, but I added it to the Plex today.
Crawl's really good.
So I can watch it.
It's a fun
He
movie.
produced it as well, because that's also Sam Raimi, right? I think he produced it. So he's done good stuff. I think he also did, is it Mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland? I think he did Mirrors.
I also really like that movie.
Oh, you do?
I love that movie.
Oh, I liked it when I watched it. I didn't know what I was watching. I was a movie snob at the time and whatever, but I also like Dark Water, and apparently that movie's dog shit, so I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't rate
Mirrors,
those movies
when's
because
the last time I watched
in
it?
a weird
I don't
time.
know, but I remember watching it like, that's really cool.
Yeah, but knowing that he did it, I'm like, oh, I'm excited. But this one, it seems to be an original IP. Maybe it's from a book that I don't know, I've never read, but with Halle Berry, I'll watch it.
Nice.
So that's coming out. And it got a trailer.
Crawl.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Alligators
then,
flooding.
I didn't watch Violent Nature. Stokes did. I think I will end up watching it, but I didn't want to go to theaters for it. I'll catch it.
So I won't give the review. But if you have, I would love to hear your review of it.
Speaking of Sam Raimi, have you ever heard of Cleopatra 2525?
No.
It's a TV show that apparently Sam Raimi produced or something.
No,
It's just
I haven't heard of
Cleopatra 2525 is in the year.
It is the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But apparently the whole plot of the show is one of them is a stripper who goes in to get a boob job and then gets put under and wakes up years in the future and starts fighting crime, essentially. But not like crime. It's like
Yo, does this
space-
got Sting?
I don't know. I watched a whole video on it. It's like shows you
my God.
no one remembers, but really should
Cleopatra
be
2525 Space Angels
studied. Yes.
should be studied.
And it was, and he went into it and he's like, and guess who was behind this? And it was like Sam Raimi. I'm like, what are we talking about? Because that's when I got interested. I was like, this could be just a dumb show anyone made. But
Dude, this guy, that is a, let me,
what does that say? The Headhunter something?
the Headhunter's Hollow Suite, sorry.
There we go. We can probably pull it up.
I'm going to type in real quick if you can remember this character.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, from yeah.
Anyway, that's all off cam.
Yep.
But
Cleopatra 2525, an interesting story if you want to look into it.
yeah, that's a TikTok
I don't know if that
thing
show
you
is
saw for sure.
watchable, but it's like
Is that from TikTok too?
no, I think it was an Instagram story.
Oh, really? Well,
Same thing. Whatever. Whichever
as
one
long as it
from.
wasn't a YouTube short, I won't judge you.
Yeah. Whoa, the kills are incredible. I can't speak of the rest of the film because I think it will really just strike everyone in a unique way, since really the only things we have that did well to compare are Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, and Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. I love Behind the Mask. Both incredible, yet very different. Violent Nature is really just a character study with some gnarly kills. I thought it was fun as hell to watch, though. I kind of ad-libbed that last line. I thought I knew where it was going, but...
Fun as hell to watch.
Yeah, that was
though.
my bad. That was all Kyle in the chat.
That was all Kyle in the chat. It does. Fangoria. You're a subscriber. You get to vote on all the Chainsaw Awards for the year. The best kill is always a write-in.
Okay.
They don't give you a multiple choice. Just like literally name any kill. Although I did not give that movie a heart. I wouldn't watch it again. It was way too slow for what I like. I think it was tonally mismatched a lot. It was like, wow, that kill was way over the top and like comical. It was funny. And then it's just walking in the woods for 10 minutes. And it's like, oh, are you in, like an experimental film? Are you an art film? Or do you want me to laugh? Like, I can't feel it. But it is an interesting watch, worth a watch. You should watch it. But there is one kill in particular that when you see it, you're like, this has to be kill of the year. Like, this is insane.
Is it
It's almost like a Terrifier 2, which I know you haven't seen either, but
Right.
in Terrifier 2, the kill that I won't get to specifically, but it is it won kill of the year, and it was like, oh, you know it when you see it because it's like 10 minutes of one person getting killed. In a Violent Nature has the same kind of kill where you're like, oh, well, this is the one, because all the other ones are interesting, but they're not like
Does
as,
it have
as
to
drawn
be
out.
a horror movie to win best kill?
They do have movies that I would argue, well, my definition of horror movie is really loose. I would put Hotel Transylvania on a horror movie, which I actually just put on my Plex today. I was like, I do that. but also I don't think I've ever seen one not nominated.
For me,
so-
right now, that has my kill of the year, and I haven't even seen the movie yet, is the one from that Craven trailer where the guy gets
dude,
That's my favorite
with
kill
the
right
Rock.
now.
Yeah. Well, is that movie ever coming out?
I don't know. I hope
I
so.
meant the stone, by the way, not the actor. The boulder, the sharp boulder,
the
not
thing in
Dwayne
the
the
wild,
Rock
dude.
Johnson killing it.
It looks so cool. So that's
Yeah.
my top kill. I haven't seen the movie yet. But anyway, back to the stuff.
So more trailers and announcements. This movie's been announced. It got a trailer. Night Bitch.
Woo!
You familiar with this?
I have heard of the name, and I think I
It's-
don't know if I saw a trailer or a clip or like one of those.
I don't think anything had released for it
It can't, right?
until today. Trailer clip. I bet there was probably a TikTok short because I think it did festivals. So it probably didn't have any visuals, but people like, this movie's performing really well at the festival Cannes, and
Probably.
we're, that kind of thing. This one is Amy Adams is a quit her job, become a housewife, blah, blah, blah. She thinks she's turning into a dog. When I hear that, I'm like, I'm going to watch it.
Okay.
So I don't need a trailer. I think a trailer is going to harm that
What am I
movie.
going to do? Not watch it?
Well, I haven't seen the trailer.
That's
So
true.
there's a chance I watch it and I go, oh, I'm not watching that.
Yeah.
Night Bitch is a book, says Kyle. I believe you. This one was interesting. The reason I think I will watch it is because it was created as a Hulu release to streaming movie, but it tested so well they're pushing it to theaters, which is strange to me because how did they not do that with Prey? I don't get it. But I think it might also be because Amy Adams and her sort of her stature, her
Name recognition.
all of the that when you put a movie into theaters, you're then allowed to be an Oscar nominee.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can't be. Even the ones that you think of that are Netflix originals, they purposefully put, like Glass Onion, they put it in theaters for a week just so it can have the nomination. Or like Apple TV originals, like Coda, when it won, it was the same thing. They put it in theaters, even though they really normally wouldn't.
Do you think
have.
that's going to change soon? The Oscars just be like, it doesn't matter if it was in theaters?
No,
No? Okay.
no, probably not.
I just feel like
I think. Well, you got to think how like head ass are those people that they're not going to be like, let's change. They don't have stuntmen Oscars, so
yeah, I think making a new category I think would be harder.
like if Jeff Keighley were in charge of it, I'd be like, absolutely,
Gotcha.
But I maybe because they for short films, I don't know if they require you to have been in a festival or something like that. Could you do a short film to YouTube and then get it?
No, from what I remember, it's been many years since I looked into it. It was essentially to become a Oscar-nominated short film. Usually that wins a festival for it, but that festival is something you have to win a regional level festival to even qualify for the festival that gets you qualified for the Oscars. So it's
Yeah.
like 6 steps to get to that point.
I had friends in 2016, 2017 that did a student film, and there is a student Oscars. Like it's by the Academy, it is the Oscars. But that one was, I don't know if it was different levels of what you had to have required.
And that might have been
But that
like-
one was it had to be submitted to a festival. It had to do well in the festival in some
Right.
regard, I imagine, because it's got to be a good movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was nominated, and they did the whole rigmarole of doing the Oscars. But they didn't have there wasn't 3 layers. I think they like did one major submission, and then they just did Traverse City, Frankfurt, like
Yep.
just some of the local ones.
Yeah, yeah.
It was Voices from a Poison City, but it had a word in the front. It was like Echoes, Voices from a Poison City. It was about Flint water crisis.
I mean, it's also like I always hear people not watching the Oscars, and it's like, well, how do you get more people to watch it? Maybe make it more inclusive or do more things like that.
Put on the whatever fucking movie you just watched with Mark Wahlberg.
The Union.
The Union.
Yeah,
I want to say
that's
The
great.
Omen, but that's not it. Put on The Union.
Hey, just wait. The Union, they set it up for more. There could be unions to come.
Anyway, the last one that I saw, it got a trailer, is another one in the. They need to come up with a universe name for this because I don't know what it is, but it's the Winnie the Pooh. It's the Steamboat Willie. It's the.
I think they called it the Pooh universe.
Don't say Pooniverse, dude.
Pooh universe.
Don't say it, dude.
Okay.
Why'd you say it?
I don't because you said it.
I know
took
I
me a
said it.
second
I'm
to
just kidding. I'm
register.
kidding. I know.
I thought they did have a name, but whatever. That horror thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
but they have another one. It is Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. The director of this and the Winnie the Pooh movies apparently his whole thing is he wants every movie, whether it's a sequel, tie-in, something, who cares? He wants every movie to be a like functionally different feeling movie, so that he thinks so that everyone will watch them, so that they can find out if that's the one for them. Like he's like, I want there to be one for everybody, but you have to like sample all of them. That's such a, I don't know, but I'm like Alexander Aja. I'm like, if I watch his movie, I know what flavor I'm going to get.
That's fair.
You know, I thought that was a really interesting thing for him to say. I get it. I can see the reasoning. And because he's playing with fucking moon sand. This is like all just fun fluff. Who cares? You know, it's like, it's Steamboat Willie, you know, you're getting David Howard Thornton and you're making it on $100,000. Like, that's great.
Here's my thing with this is that this is Peter Pan, Neverland Nightmare. Peter Pan's the bad guy.
Yeah, this one, so part of that was him talking about how Winnie the Pooh was like we'll use the word fun. He used other words, but it was like, oh, fun, whatever. It's more lighthearted. He's like, this one I want to be, it's like a serious, darker tone because we're dealing with kidnapping children.
Right.
And I was like, you want to do a Peter Pan movie that's a serious tone because you're dealing with kids? That's crazy.
The other thing, Peter Pan was the bad guy in the Chip and Dale Rescue Ranger movie. And it was awesome. They don't need another Peter Pan bad guy. They already did it. It's already done. We had it. We're good. I probably won't watch it. I didn't watch the Pooh anything. So
you know what? So I watched the first one, and the reason I remember that so well is because one, I really fucking hated that movie. Mm-hmm. But two, when I went to the theater with my A-list, I had to pay the $15 because they don't count Fathom events.
Yep.
Which when they go, A-list gets you a ticket to any of these theaters, and they have a list of 700 things on the screen, I'm like, how is Fathom events not in there, you know?
Because Fathom's a mess. But
I understand. I'm actually not really that mad about it. But I was like, oh, I think it's kind of funny that I'm going to be paying $15 to go see, let alone, I got a popcorn. I got the soda. I paid $35 to go see this movie, and I walked out and I was like, that wasn't fun. This was like embarrassing. I really, really hated that. Like, well, that was terrible.
Can I get this removed from my Stubbs account? I don't want it to be reminded that I've seen this.
This shit, well, it wasn't on the Stubbs account, right? No, just
yeah, it's true.
I did use rewards though, because the points.
Yeah, you got to get the points.
If it stays so I can get the points, I'll keep it.
Okay.
I got to get those $5.
Cool.
But what's funny, the second one came out. I don't know if it's streamable, but it's available on VOD. That was kind of weird, huh?
Yeah, my phone opened up and just started playing my podcast, but I don't know where to.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. The second one came out. I believe it's on VOD, and you can pay for it. I didn't watch it, but what was really funny was I had to check the date on this article for this trailer because I saw the article, I went through it, saw the trailer existed, obviously didn't hit play because we usually watch those together. Mm-hmm. But it was like, from the up-and-coming Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, the yet released. And I was like, even this article doesn't know the second movie's out. I was like,
wow.
That's, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They're talking about the director. They have an interview, whatever. And I was like, no, I know people who have seen it. I've gotten reviews. I have synopses. Like, I know that this movie's out. I know the differences they did.
Is it a festival run? Or is it out? Like, was it?
Well,
what out are we talking about? I feel like it's also a thing now.
Not everyone I listen to does festivals.
I mean, I don't doubt it, but it is kind of, now that I've started listening to more people that do reviews on different things, the amount of people that see things early or get to play things early, it's like, I don't even know.
You're like, how did you?
Yeah,
like, right there. You can rent it for $13.
There you go.
So
it is out.
I just went to Amazon.
I just go, I don't know how everyone should have access to it. Why are we holding back the release date?
No. There's what's really great is there are some festivals that, for me, it would be like a Fright Fest, where that's the kind of title we're talking about or whatever. Yeah. Those ones, many of them have gone digital. There's got to be so many fests out there where it's like you buy a digital ticket and you have a show time, but you really just get a login and you just watch it within a certain,
We should try to get some.
We definitely can. I mean, the one I was thinking of in particular, I think was Fantasia Film Fest. That one's over. I don't. Well, maybe when one comes up, I'll bring it up. See if we want to do tickets and do a watch along. That sounds fun.
Just see how it is, just to see. I've never done anything like that. I mean, I used to do preview for Amazon, they gave me Amazon gift cards if I'd watch a show, and it'd be like, sometimes it'd have graphics, or the graphics weren't done, so it would just be like blank text and be like, this scene in here is going to be this scene. We haven't shot it yet. And I'd be like, okay, and I'd just give reviews on it. I used to do that a lot, but I've never done like a
which they don't have anymore because I tried looking to see if I could do that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But also, the more we've gotten into the streaming world, because that was a decade ago for you.
Yeah, it
right?
was wild.
The more that we've gotten into the streaming world, I'm like, that sounds even worse. Like, it couldn't be getting better. The things I would be getting. What do you think about this shovelware?
Yeah, I think
I don't want to put my eyes on it.
I think I watched an entire documentary series about Hugh Hefner, and it's not like I had anything against the guy, but it's like I don't really care to know anything about this.
Was it called The Playboy?
I'm sure something like that.
Yeah.
There's other thing was like, what do you like? Get this title, or is this title better? Or is this title better? So whatever title it ended up with, I don't know if it's what I watched under or not. Here are the logos. Here's the. What do you think? Was this something you would click on above this? Like all those different
that's
questions. Cool. So, but anyway, I think that'd be fun to look into. Getting into some news.
I'm reading back at just
okay.
I said like the movie's out, and he's like closet out or festival out. So movie news. We can touch on it quick.
Yep.
The Alien TV show coming to Fox has. Was that someone tugging on our door?
It was someone tugging on the door. Who wouldn't have a key?
Oh, it sounds like Dan. Door's here.
Or Bethany.
Or Bethany. So Alien Earth, it's coming to Fox, FX. So likely coming to Hulu. Produced by Noah Hawley, which was really exciting for me because he does my favorite TV show, Fargo, also Fox, also FX.
Yep.
All that makes really great sense. Super simple teaser. It's a shot of Earth. Did you see this?
Nope.
It's a shot of Earth.
Okay.
And then it's actually on the reflection of a xenomorph's head as it like sits up. So then you can see like it shining like a faded kind of glossy Earth over its shiny face.
Okay.
It was like on the long part of its head.
Yep.
The only thing I read about the plot is xenomorphs come to Earth. Something has crash landed on Earth with xenomorph.
Okay.
I don't know how far in the future. I don't know what the tech looks like. I don't know what the show's going to be. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But Noah Hawley, he touched Castlevania, which is the only reason I watched it. And I like that. The anime.
Okay.
Netflix anime. Fargo, my favorite show, which doesn't actually mean much because I don't watch much TV. But I still love the show.
Fair.
And then he did the one with Dan Stevens, the X-Men show, Legion.
Oh, okay.
Which I watched the first season weekly as it aired. I couldn't do weekly again after that.
Yeah, I bet.
But Legion, I recommend it if you haven't seen it.
I have
Especially
not
because you're
seen
such
it.
a big Dan Stevens fan.
He is really good.
Yeah, I mean, he's great in
So
the show,
good.
too. It's got Aubrey Plaza, too. So
Okay.
she's great. She's the villain,
Oh.
which I really enjoyed. And then it has Jermaine Clement. He's don't go in thinking he's a main character,
okay.
but he's in there.
He's in there.
And he's in there enough that I'm like, you're so cool. And his whole motif, his whole character, I'm like, dude, why are you in a scuba suit? You know, this is great.
Why are you in a scuba suit?
Anyway,
All right.
now this other one I got. I went through a lot of movie news, and like you said, we talk about shit we like. Mm-hmm. A lot of it was shit I didn't care about.
Yep.
And I was like, that is news. I don't think we care. Like, it's not a trailer or an announcement of something coming. It's just like, this has a review. This movie might get made. I'm like, none of this. What was the last one we said? The Hogan one. The Hulk Hogan movie might be getting made. I'm like, that's cool. We want that.
Hogan movie.
The one of him in the website he took down that had his porn on it.
yeah.
That one. Like, there's something interesting there. But this one was one that was buried. It was on like the 5th website I checked for news.
Okay.
YouTube finally bests the long-reigning Disney as the most watched TV service.
Interesting.
So what they're measuring is across Fire Stick, Roku, Apple TV, the smart built-in Android TV, what is the streaming service that is being watched for the most time a TV is on?
And we're saying YouTube as in YouTube, not YouTube TV.
YouTube, the application YouTube.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Just making sure.
Granted, they might actually wrap in YouTube TV. They didn't mention that at all. I didn't think about that. I would say they're the same service. It's a different app, but
Well, one you have to
their
pay
own.
for, right?
well, yeah.
So, like,
one you have to
I
pay
don't know.
for.
I feel like that-
it can't be that because as I get more stats, you'll see. But,
Okay.
But it is interesting that Disney has been the reigning for however long. It has to be because Disney now owns ESPN. Disney now owns,
Yeah.
and these are just services. The fun fact of this all is, the number, by the way, that they hit was 10.4%
Of all streaming
of all
was from
whatever was YouTube.
YouTube.
I think they said Disney got into the 11s, but they've slowly been dipping, and they just dropped into like a high 9, and YouTube passed it as a 10.4. It was a 10.4, good
That's
buddy.
a big 10-4, good buddy.
Anyway, But what's interesting is they measured tablet usage as well. And for tablets, 40% of all app and streaming usage of YouTube was from ages 2 to 17. So consider everyone watching on a tablet, YouTube. Almost half of that are people who can't vote.
I mean, that makes sense. Like, how many people have kids that are like, here's a tablet?
That's the stat
play.
that I'm like, well, of course.
Yeah.
It is the 2-year-old, watching mommy's iPad kind of thing. But also, it's like, just think about how people get their content. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if another 30% of that age, what they're watching is Twitch.
Yeah.
Or it's just the higher end of that age gap. But that's why I go, oh, that's why it took Disney, because Disney is 2 to 17 as well. It's the same thing of like, oh, we're at home, I'm about to cook dinner. Let me put Bluey on.
Yep.
Let me put on whatever. I love The Lion King. Moana, those kinds of things are being played. But to get it back to TVs off of that, 13% of the viewership of all of YouTube was from kids 2 to 17. That is so much lower than I thought.
So wait.
So of the people watching YouTube,
Yep.
that's that number is 100% in your mind.
100%.
13% of those viewers are 2 to 17.
Okay.
So that means that they're not including 1-year-olds or less. So 18 and up makes up 87% of YouTube viewing on televisions.
So where does the 40%?
I just wanted to measure that it's like 40%, like when you consider all tablet users, 40% are 2 to 17. When you consider all TV users, 13%.
So those are two different percentages.
They're two different stats only based on the system or the viewing, whatever the medium, you know what I say?
Got it. Because I was like, so is it 40% of 13% or is it 13% of 40%? But they're separate lines.
Separate numbers, separate tech.
I'm following now.
If you're going to do that, you'll say it's 13% of the 10-4.
Gotcha.
10-4 being YouTube on TV, 13% being of all YouTube users on TVs.
Okay.
But I was surprised to find that, because it's like that. All that means is that the people who are majority watching YouTube on TV are adults. When it's on the other, they didn't have phones. I was so curious about it.
Yeah.
A phone, probably because teens don't have phones as much as adults. So I was like, I guess that could be a reason why. But the number is so great in one area. But as soon as they don't have control of the remote, it's still going to YouTube, but they're not doing it. And that number is just so drastic. But I was like, okay, so it's not Twitch, but it's not Disney, it's not Netflix, it's YouTube as the most. It's just, I was surprised by that.
I would be interested because they got 2 to 17. I want to know the 18 to 24 because that could be 80%.
Yeah,
And
or
then
whatever
7%
measure they
above,
use.
You know,
but
yeah.
Yeah, I am
feel
very
like
curious.
It's that middle area where the people that grew up as kids with YouTube that are now in like the 20-somethings, maybe college, all that stuff, they're like, well, let's put on YouTube.
Well, it is interesting because it's like, I want to go a little bit after 18 and really just like almost highlight millennials, because whoever's 18 right now, I think is still Gen Z, but it would be like maybe 10 years from now or something is Gen Alpha. So it includes Alpha and Z in 2 to 17, right?
Right.
So I'm kind of just like, what are millennials doing for this? How much are they making up of it? Because is that shift still happening in our age group? Because I know I feel it. I'm like, I don't want to watch TV. It's the same thing of I want to give my attention to something. I'll do a 20-minute video about a video game I like. Or we'll do a podcast that like this will probably be viewed on YouTube by someone eventually, right? So
I just recently started watching more YouTube on TV only because Rooster Teeth no longer exists.
Right.
Their app doesn't work, but they have all their videos on YouTube. And I was like, I just want to go back and live like it's 2012 again. Let me just watch like videos almost in order as if they were being released from Rooster Teeth. And I just go back and watch old videos. And so I do that on the TV. But if Rooster Teeth was still up, I'd use the Rooster Teeth
watch
app.
it here.
Yeah.
But just because of it's a bigger iPad.
Yeah. So, woo, red versus blue.
Anyway, so that's movie news. Releasing this week in theaters for both of these. I couldn't find anything releasing to streaming or TV or otherwise. But we have Beetlejuice.
I was going to say, you only have one Beetlejuice on the note, and I would say that's a different movie.
You know what,
so
dude?
Could you fix that for me?
Okay, dude. I'll do it
Give
live.
us 1 second, guys. Sorry for the delay. Let's see. Yep. Okay. I'm seeing it come
Beetlejuice.
through now. Yep.
Beetlejuice,
Okay, cool,
Beetlejuice.
cool. Thank
We
you.
got it.
Yep.
And then The Front Room. Are you familiar?
No.
The Front Room is
The sequel to The Way, Way Back.
the way back room. No, it's I believe it's an A24 movie actually, but it's the
Isn't everything nowadays?
this I know, but the mother-in-law comes to live with the woman who's about to give birth.
Oh.
In a horror movie.
Okay.
Kind of changed my mind. I was like, I might actually go see that instead of Beetlejuice first. I don't know when Shay's available or not, but I can convince her that it's like, no, Shay, you got one movie a week. I can go see multiple. If I'm going to see multiple, I'm going to go see The Front Room by myself.
I've heard good things that got me a little hyped for Beetlejuice. Someone that's like, hey, I watched the Beetlejuice for the first time like 6 months ago because they were making this. I didn't really care. It was fine. I could see why it's called classic, but it wasn't for me. And then he went and watched this. Like, this movie's funny. It's really good. Like, I really like it. He gave it like an 8 out of 10. I went, whoa.
Who's this person?
Someone that does like movie podcasts. I don't.
You trust them though?
No.
That's where I was like, because those kinds of
No.
reviews have fucked me in the past.
No, I don't. But just for the fact that it was somebody who also didn't really like the first one came in and was like, oh, the second one I did really like. I was like, usually you could be wrong, but maybe there's the one small line that we fall upon.
What are you
going to
do?
It. I'm going to watch it. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm not going to. Yeah, I'm just give me a
see
little
it?
hope.
All right, tell me about this anime news.
Anime news. So much like all the other movie news, there's a ton of anime news that comes out. I only pick the stuff that is really important because we all know new seasons are coming. So many mangas are taking hiatuses, right? It's just
Trailers and adaptations.
There's so much
and
stuff.
Continuations in season 85.
So I got the two big things that I want to talk about that I found interesting. Number one, the Sekiro is going to get an anime. So that's exciting. They announced that Elden Ring was going to get an anime. It kind of just makes sense.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was like, so when's Dark Souls? Right?
I know,
When's Bloodborne?
I think
I'd
more
rather
and more
Bloodborne. I
Bloodborne.
might watch a Bloodborne.
Bloodborne anime would be awesome. However, it feels like From Software and everybody just wants us to forget Bloodborne exists. I know. It's so weird. But then they do that.
But hear me out. Is it because FromSoft is putting everywhere? Does Sony own something with Bloodborne now that is like that's their title?
It might be.
Because think about when they put out their minifigs, when they put out their plushies, when you go to their shop, you get Aloy, Kratos, Nathan Drake, and a hunter. And
Hunter's
I'm like,
in Astro, the bot movie.
Yeah, and I'm
game.
like, okay, so hunters are everywhere. They still own the right. They are
It's
putting
something-
this out as a PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's got to be the reason. And they just got to be like, we don't own that anymore. Mm-hmm. It's Kevin Smith, and I'm talking about Dogma.
Yeah,
He's just like, I don't own that. That's
I
never.
can't-
Nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Miramax
it really
will
sucks
never
because
loosen the grip.
a remake, like if they wait for the PS6 or whatever, like a remaster of Bloodborne would be sick. A sequel would be even better. Like there's so much good stuff in that
sequel would
world
be great,
that would be
yeah.
awesome. But
Anyway.
we'll see. Nate says peeps keep talking about the big 3 shonen series ending. That's true. I mean, do we count like? It's hard because you're like, oh, Naruto ended. Well, then we got Boruto, and then I think more Naruto stuff is coming now because he's got a whole manga series coming out with the Turtles and the Ninja Turtles and stuff. So
I know.
Is
A
that
comic
ended?
book, right?
I don't know. Yeah,
Like a
Yeah, it's like a comic, yeah.
Well, because Derek was like, I think I'm gonna get into comics, and I was like, why do you? That's great. Oh, great, cool.
Yeah.
Why? He's like, oh, because they're doing a comic with Naruto. I was like, dude, that's gonna be like an 8-issue trade. You
Yeah.
don't need to get into comics.
No.
You need to buy that. You need to.
Yeah.
As Derek. That's it.
You don't have to
You
get into
don't go
comics.
any further
Yeah.
than that. You know what I mean?
But there's that. The One Piece supposedly is ending in January, but he's pushed that date back a couple of times now. So eventually, I think they are going to end One Piece here soon, but maybe not for a little while. Dragon Ball Z is something that gone away, or just Dragon Ball's gone, come back multiple times. A new one airs in October, I believe. Bleach came back, so it's like whatever you decide as the
Ted
3
Lasso's
shonen,
back. Nothing ends.
It's I don't know where we're saying ending, Nate. I think One Piece will end. When One Piece ends, I think One Piece will end because there's the live action being made, so they can still keep working on that. They have the remake of the anime that's going to be being made. They can work on that, and I think just the manga will stop. And then we'll get probably more because there's been a lot of like I recently read a whole Food Wars that was Sanji instead of the Food Wars characters. I think we're gonna get a lot of that. I agree.
Yeah,
about the
well,
same.
you also got to think too. Anything you're seeing on YouTube that's just like these are going to end. That person is just looking for the click, right?
The click.
I've been seeing trailers for, the third animated Spider-Man film for 2 years now.
Yep.
And I was like, that doesn't exist. That's not real. But anyway.
Yeah.
So Sekiro's coming out. That's
Sekiro's
really
cool.
That's a really great setting. It makes good sense.
This was interesting because we talked about the trailer of this.
We
and
did.
I thought it'd be cool
we did.
to
And
come back.
I've seen this reception kind of come across for me, but you got it.
But essentially, Terminator Zero, the anime that we showed a trailer for, I think first or second episode, is the second highest rated Terminator project, currently sitting at a 9. Well, when I wrote this down, was sitting at a 92% on
You
Rotten
said
Tomatoes.
currently.
So
You wrote it down today, so
well,
it's current.
I feel like you could keyboard warriors will come out. Nope, sorry.
Do we have those yet?
No, not yet. But I just want to act like we do, like we're big enough. You know?
My man.
Exactly.
We're gonna
Dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Someone's
you know?
gonna come back to this video like 8 years from now and be like, actually,
See?
1086.
That's what I'm saying. But that's really exciting
Nate, please, no, God.
Because
no,
I was
please.
right. I was right on the fence about what that
Getting
could be.
into it.
Because Terminator is like,
Did you watch the Cyberpunk anime?
no,
I recommend it.
Um,
You didn't play the game, right?
I did not play the game at all.
You don't have to.
Okay. But Terminator is very much like a series where I'm like, man, I really like the Terminator series. And I go, well, I guess I like 2.5 out of the 7 films there are or whatever.
I should also say, not you don't have to play it, period. You don't have to enjoy the anime.
Gotcha.
The game's great. I
Okay.
loved the game. I would recommend it to you. It's a little on the big side for what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
But you don't have, whatever. All the same.
Okay.
Cyberpunk gets my 2 thumbs as well.
Gotcha. But hearing this, I was like, well, I'm definitely going to at least check out an episode, see if the animation
So you said there are
for
2.
me.
Is it just 1, 2, and Salvation? Part of Salvation?
No, I think I like Salvation.
I
I'd have to go back to.
I like 1, 2, 3, Salvation. Like I like all of them a lot.
I like 1 through 3.
I mean,
3's got some
I
like
think
middle stuff
2
where I'm like,
2
okay.
has the Aliens effect where it's like I feel like more people remember Aliens than Alien.
Yes.
Despite me thinking Alien is the better movie.
Yep.
I think it's the same thing with Terminator. People
100%.
remember T2 more because the liquid and the whatever. But I think just Terminator is the better movie.
So much better.
Bill Paxton.
It's so good.
I'm gonna confuse myself with all the him killing all the different things and dying to all the creatures, but he's the first one, right?
I think he's like very first one. They steal his outfit.
Yeah.
They steal his jacket.
Right.
Yeah. I need your coat, your boots. That whole, yeah. Unless that's the second one where he does that.
That's what I'm saying, dude. What do you say we watched? Actually, I was just saying because we watched Alien. Shay and I did. She wants to do Predator next. I'm like, well, we should finish it with Terminator. Do the Bill Paxton trilogy. I guess we also watched Twisters. So there you go. Anyway,
And then do you do the Near Dark?
we did watch that one not too long ago. Well, I showed it to her, and I was like, but she didn't know Bill Paxton. I mean, I'd argue she still doesn't, but
sounds like sometimes she really doesn't.
she goes, man, I've seen this guy before. I'm like, yes, I know.
All
right, we're out of anime, we're out of movies.
Yep, we're getting into games.
We're gonna rip through games real quick because these ones are just quick announcements.
boop, 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 boop.
We talked about First Descendant at the top of the show. First Descendant has its first season. It began a few days ago. It has a new descendant, Haley the Marksman.
Whoop, whoop. Did
you see the trailer?
So there was the initial group of descendants. Then they had a thing come out with a new ultimate, and I want to say one descendant.
One descendant, yeah.
Right? The
Yep.
music one. And this is the next new descendant.
Right,
Okay.
right. You see the trailer?
I did not.
I'll just mention it real quick because it's like a Arctic themed character. She's like all dressed in all white with like a polar hood and whatever. She it shows her like climbing up this last little bit of a mountain and like coming over the top and looking at like a facility.
Yeah.
And when she gets up, she dusts off like snow off of her hand on her butt, and her whole ass is just jiggle physics. Dude, the comments were like, they're like, I just give me the barbecue
They know how to
sauce.
sell the game.
And I was like, yes, exactly. I was thinking, this is crazy. I didn't even notice it, and I was like, what are these guys talking about? They're putting timestamps of 002. They're 2 seconds.
I mean, if I'm going to be behind a character for 300 hours,
Well,
I wanna make
and
sure it's worth-
As I've noticed, Warframe is very much the same thing. I would love to pull it up for you real quick as we're waiting for people to get ready, so I can show you one of the new emotes they put in or whatever. I was like, are you serious?
Terminator, that show at Universal that I don't believe they have anymore. I did see it when they did have it. It was very good. It was very impressive how well they were able to sell that the people on stage were the actors from the movie when they definitely were not.
Can you there's a controller behind us, Brent.
Yeah. I was just
No,
okay.
8. Baldur's Gate 3.
Yep.
There's a new level designer that came out that has the ability to play D&D by the rules in the game.
I did see a little bit about this.
And it's really cool. All of the characters are miniatures that are static and like they
Yeah.
take like wobble damage and it's fantastic. I was like, I would never ever in my wildest dreams ever use this.
But
I'm
it's there
so
for some
happy it's
people.
there for somebody.
Yep.
Well, and they have the data because what's the one that they had before? You start on the prison island. God, I actually like the game.
You start on the prison island. Neverwinter?
Divinity, Original Sin.
Oh, okay.
Well, this was Divinity 2, but
Yeah.
Divinity, they put that into Divinity as well. It didn't use the Dungeons and Dragons rules because of licensing and stuff,
Yeah.
but it's cool to see that Baldur's Gate got not just support, but like a whole new thing tied to the game.
Is it based on the new D&D rule set? Or
That's good. I didn't actually. they had a small interview in there. I didn't listen to it because
Right.
again, I'm half interested. I'm interested in that. I'm happy
It's
for the
exciting
people.
that it's happening.
And as a former game store owner, I'm like, cool. I know people that like D&D. Let's support it.
All about it.
Not for me. Then we got a trailer for Green Hawk Platoon. This is a new Army Men game. We've been looking
Like
at
the
that one.
green-
What were you about to
Like
say?
you mean like the green soldiers?
Yep.
With
like
the
like
connected feet?
the connected feet that are
Really?
that wobble.
That's awesome.
And I was like, this looks like that the game where you build the action figure that we were talking about.
Hyper
Shit.
Charge or something?
I think you got it.
I think it's
Hypercharge.
Hypercharge.
Yeah, Hypercharge. You're building the thing. Same thing here. There was no gameplay, so I can't see what it's like. But I loved playing that on I think it was PS1, the Army Men game. So I was glad to see that something's coming back. I hope it's a $10, $15 game. And now that we have time, that's the kind of game where I'm like, I'll pay the $10 to put it on a Thursday one time. I mean, I guess collectively we'd give them $20, $30
Oh,
for us
no.
to do it.
for a
One
fun time?
stream, maybe a second one. You know, maybe a little.
Yeah.
That'd be
Especially if the game's like, oh, it takes 6 hours to beat. We do 2-3 hour streams of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly,
sure.
exactly. Speaking of PlayStation 1 games coming back, we are getting a remake of Croc. Are you familiar?
That's the noise, right? He's a
Yeah.
sideways croc.
No. No, he's a 3D character.
Oh.
He's like Spyro.
He doesn't walk on all fours?
Nope.
Who am I thinking of?
I'll just show you the cover because they actually didn't change it. But that's it there. But they have this motherfucker's awkward running exactly the same.
That's
And
exciting.
What's crazy about this is,
What am I thinking?
as I brought up in the first ever episode of our first podcast we ever did ever, the system
I
is
believe it was
corrupt.
called Tongue Punch.
That's not. Shut the fuck up. The system is corrupt and it fucks good people.
Okay, yeah.
Speaking of that, my uncle went to prison.
Yeah.
Speaking of my uncle went to prison, one of us got a PlayStation 1 after my uncle went to prison. It was me. It wasn't you.
It was not me.
You did not get it. It was covered in all these punk stickers that I was like, surely the anarchy sticker made him go to prison. I was very young.
Okay.
Well, anyway, he had a bunch of really cool games like Twisted Metal and others I can't even think of, but I was allowed to keep two of them. Tekken 2 and
right.
Croc. Tekken 2, I didn't have a memory card. So I was like, I'm unlocking characters and then they go away. So I don't, it just didn't take, this was like, I can beat this game.
Yeah.
There's like levels to go through. So I played a shitload of Croc and it was really great to see it come through. But I'm not gonna lie, the recreation of this, the remaster, it ain't remastered enough. This shit looks like a PS1 game still. And I'm like, damn, dude, is this coming out on the Switch? Like,
I mean, I am one that I understand remastering, and but there's a sweet spot during the PS1 N64 era where games do look bad, but because I've played so much or played them so long, I don't even notice them. Like playing the OG Pokemon Snap, the new one looks amazing. It's way better, obviously.
yeah.
But I can play that old one and still get lost into it. It doesn't have to look beautiful.
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny
like that
'cause
weird 3D window.
it's funny because I was actually tricking myself as I was watching the trailer for this new one. I'm like, is this new? Wait.
Yep.
Because the Croc looks gummy, soft, like there's a lot of poly there. But the backgrounds are squares still. Like
Okay.
everything is still light.
Blocky.
I was like, which is it? And again, I'm telling you, when you see the way this guy runs, you're like, that can't be how you move. It's not tank controls or anything where it's like hard to do, but it's just so floppy and like the way that you jump on, it's a classic kind of 3D platformer,
Yeah.
just like Spyro. The puzzles of it, I'm like, none of this has changed. It's when they redid the Crash Bandicoot games,
Yeah.
the side scroller, people are like, oh, it's just as hard as you remember
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the weird, the where the frames lock and stuff. It's got that same kind of look to it.
I don't know if you probably never have, but I've seen a lot of people that will like cosplay Kingdom Hearts characters, and when they do Sora, they do his walk from the very first game.
Oh,
with the big arms and the feet. It's like
Oh yeah, I actually have seen that.
It's just like
That's
yeah.
hard
It's
to
like
forget.
sometimes games characters just moved
Nate,
really
quit jumping
weird.
ahead, dude. We're talking announcents. Nate's jumping ahead. Let's get to the
We'll
news.
get there. We'll get there. Yeah,
we'll get to the news.
Real
I didn't
quick,
put this in any order. but-
Remaking of classic PlayStation games. Game on my list that I thought about. You were like, "What PlayStation games do you want to play?" I wanted to play Medieval. I want to play through that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
never
yeah,
got to.
that'd
It
be
was one
great.
that I just
It's solo,
I grew up
single
and
player,
always
yeah,
wanted to
but
watch
the
and play.
Medieval.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Anyway, yes, news. Blue Protocol canceled / shutting down. So this was a MMO RPG game that was in Japan. Said it was going to come overseas. They had announcements for it.
Trust me.
Actually,
Nate is the one who told me about that beta to sign up, and I've been signed up for a long time. And I was like, guys, I don't play this kind of stuff, but as you know, known weeb that I am, I've downloaded Genshin Impact.
Yes.
I didn't like it because I was like, what's this doing in my hand? What's this mobile game? But I was like, oh, I could do that Blue Protocol.
I was so excited for Blue Protocol.
I don't know if I was excited, but I'm like, oh, if people join this, I'd play this. Yeah. It looks good.
So I'm sad that is all going away.
You know, I'm happy I never got it. Unlike Concord. By my measures, roughly...
Oh, I forgot that door was unlocked. I was like, what was that? It made me jump so long.
By my measures, roughly 700 people bought the game Concord.
Yes.
They made about $30,000 or $28,000, whatever our math was. Yeah, so it's crazy, though, because we're getting the news. They're shutting down Concord. Nate jumped the gun, but it is true. But the servers are being shut down on September 6th, exactly 2 weeks after its launch date, if you don't include early access stuff. That's crazy.
And from what I saw is that they're shutting it down.
They're refunding everybody.
They're refunding everybody, and then they're talking about what the next options are for the game.
No, I didn't hear any about the options. I didn't hear about the options.
They
the options
say
are just what's the who's they then?
Like the news article was like their reports were like this is the statement of we're closing this down, refunding everybody, and then we're gonna take time to figure out the next steps for the game. Is that just gobbledygook that they're saying so people can be like, well, maybe
the next
this game
steps
will
are
come back?
What are they going to put the studio on, or is the studio just going to get shut down?
Right,
because Sony's the one who's putting all.
They put a lot into Concord.
Do you know how long it took to make Concord?
It was like 10 years or something, right?
It was 8 years.
8 years? Yeah, I was going to say
8 years for a shooter. Do you know what game came to mind when I was like, that's preposterous?
No.
Splitgate. I'm like, these guys, it's 1043 named after their college dorm room.
Oh, yeah.
Splitgate 1 comes out, does gangbusters. I played Splitgate 2 already.
Yeah.
And that game goes so hard. It's so good. And I was like, what were you doing? We played Concord, and I'm like, what took so long?
What took so long?
That's the kind of thing where you hear about Anthem and its difficulties and its issues and whatever, where you find out people are learning the name of the game on the day of E3 when it's announced, and they're doing this. You can fly. That one guy is like, I'm developing levels, and I didn't know you could fly. You know what I mean? Like that's the level of Anthem. That's like but it's because they had a whole game ready. They brought it to head of EA, and he said he hated it so bad they just scrapped it, start over. Did Concord get like 2 restarts?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I think about the games that we've gotten in 8 years. I almost wanted to type up 8 years ago, here's where the world was. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that because that makes me sad.
Just when did the first Guardians of the Galaxy come out?
The cinema?
Yeah. In the cinema.
Oh, I was thinking the video game.
Not the game, the first movie. Because
2014, so a decade.
A decade? Because in my head, that movie comes out, does well.
And you're like, I can make a game about this.
Somebody somewhere was like, what if we did that ragtag space crew?
Which is funny because we got that Guardians of the Galaxy video game, which won Best Narrative Story of the Year. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you played it. It's a ton of fun. It's very unique. Has one missable trophy, though, which makes me upset as someone who doesn't want to restart a game. Missable trophies should not exist. Anyway. But it's the reason I didn't play it, actually. I'm not going to lie to you.
The fact
I was like, oh, this is going to be a great platinum. Oh, I can miss a trip. Nope, I'm not. I don't want to be tied to my guide. Anyway.
The other thing was like I see that, start working on it, didn't like it, reswitch. But the fact that in that time we've gotten 3 more Guardian movies, a Guardian video game, a ride at Disney World in the time it took them to make this Concord game. Maybe you missed the boat.
To a game that was like, who needs this? And it was just so, I mean, we didn't get to play every map. We didn't get to play. And there's also a year of cinematics are done.
Yeah.
They've got seasonal content scheduled and planned or whatever. And they're just like, shoot it, dead.
To be fair, I mean.
And obviously they have their financials wrapped around the $40. But if you have 2 options, right? You're like, if this fails, we're going to refund everyone and give them back their money anyway. Or it could possibly be free and people could try it and play it and maybe like it. And we could charge for a battle pass. We could charge for skins. Take the content you've built out for a year, truncate it into battle passes. Like make the first battle pass suck because a lot of games, I mean, or make the first season come 2 months after it's out, like First Descendant. We're in season 1, not season 2. This game's been out for months. There's so many solutions. And I keep hearing the conversation I heard while listening to a podcast about this was this had to be like a from the hip kind of like, oh no, we must shut it down. I think the opposite. I'm like, you guys knew this game was dead the whole time,
Right.
but you released it just in case, or because you had some obligation. It was in a contract. We're going to have to try it. And I bet you we'll give it 2 weeks. Because it's like on the beginning of the second week, you're going to shut down immediately.
It's 100%.
But I don't know anyone who got ruined by this. Everyone who arguably had their problems, they're going to get the refund. So
we were talking about
no harm, no foul.
I mean, we were talking about when we saw the 700 something players, 600 and something players. How do you not know that's the numbers you're going to get with pre-orders? You know what I mean? Like, so they had to have had previous knowledge of what the numbers were going to be like. Yeah. I picture somebody with a ripcord in their hand waiting, and they're like, we have to wait the 2 weeks, guys. And then as soon as they're like, all right, guys, we know what's happening. You can't do it until 2 weeks. Cool. We're going to announce it now.
Yeah.
So everyone's ready. Because, how did they not know? You're right.
Yeah. And it's just like, is there something tax related that this is the reason it happens? It's just all of the things.
Yeah.
But what do you do with that team? I don't know. You got to put them somewhere, right? Or they're gone. The studio is just going to die because 8 years of that payroll just being completely farted away.
Yeah, and I'm hoping
they had a controller.
There were there were so many. There was a lot of there were people excited for this
Greg
game. And
Miller
I'm sad for them.
said this best. He's like, PlayStation sends me everything. One, because he's a PlayStation fanboy, but two, because of the stature of his company.
Yeah,
and the reviews he does and everything. He says that today, as this news is breaking, his Astrobot controller is in the mail. He said he knew this game was dead because they didn't send him a controller. He's like, they didn't even waste the time to send me this controller. He's like, I've received everything of merch that this company's ever had for the last decade. They didn't send me this controller. They knew this game was dead. And I'm like, that's such a weird, insight. It's a soft flex too, but.
Yeah. He says, like Skull and Bones, had to release it. That and the purchase
Derek's,
that whole devs outright.
Derek's going to save that game.
Is he?
Skull and Bones, I know he hasn't mentioned it once since, but I love that he did. Cool.
We got our last bit of news, and we're going to wrap up a little early so we can get on to our other stuff we got to do tonight.
This was your news. I couldn't find this one.
So this was something that was talked about on a different podcast. I just thought it was interesting as like a whole, but essentially what's happening, Star Wars Outlaws has come out. Very middling is a positive way to say the reviews have been going.
Yeah, it's low. It's like
pretty low.
Average rating, 4 out of 10, 3.5 out of 10.
Now, I didn't play it. I had no interest in playing it, but I recently heard that some people that were playing it previously, there's a new patch coming out. And for some people, there's a new patch out and downloaded, as most people like their patches to be done. Right. But the problem is this new patch, and there's not a way to know when, but at some point, your game will just stop working. And essentially, from what people were saying, is it just spits you out into space. Yes. You've got a game save loaded. You're playing. You're halfway through the story. This patch comes through. You start playing again. Poof, you're in space. And it could take no time. It could maybe not. It's like a very we don't know what triggers it, but this patch fixes it being triggered. The only thing that can save this from happening is starting a whole new save. And not making a new save file for your current game, starting the game back over. Yes, starting from scratch. And from all the early access players had to create new saves to keep playing. And then from someone who got the email that talked about it on a podcast, said the email came in and said, hey, we know it sucks to start a new game. That's really unfortunate, and we apologize. Here's a free trinket for your ship. I don't know if it's they have gun buddies, they have other things, but it's like a gun buddies, like a little thing for your ship as a sorry, and I think in-game currency, however much in-game currency there is or whatever. I was just looking real quick. It looks like main story just kind of go through the story. It's a 17-hour game. Completionist is 31 hours. Without 100%ing it, doing main and side missions, 23 and a half. So on the low end, 17 hours. You're a quarter of the way through that. Now it's a 21-hour game. Just 4 hours gone. Well, and you could have watched one Rebel Moon in that time. I think it was Tim Geddes from Kind of Funny who was talking about playing. He said he had about 8 hours in. Yeah, to be halfway done. To be just a little under halfway done. I mean, maybe he's doing extras, so he's not quite that far, but that's the kind of thing that's I'll never ever play this again. Yeah. I mean, I've never had that happen. Anytime I've had a save file that I need to get rid of, it's actually because I don't have a memory card and I know my stakes. So I got real good at Madden because there's no save files necessary. There was racing games. One game this happened for. I was playing I think it was just a JRPG. I don't even remember. Something Roses. I don't even remember the name of the game. It was a PlayStation 2 something or another.
You're thinking Yu-Gi-Oh! War of the Roses.
No, that is a great game.
Yeah, it is.
But this was a different one.
Okay.
It was on PlayStation 2. I was playing it, was getting really far into it, and Alec was playing it too, and he just happened to save over my save when he went to like quick, hit start.
Younger brothers
when it
do.
was like you had the list and you could have slot 1 or whatever. He just saved over my game, and I went, oh. And so I started replaying again, but I just played it, so I'm trying to rush through.
Yeah.
So my guys weren't level. Like my guys weren't the correct level when I got back to where I was. I was just struggling now. I didn't want to go down every side path like I did the first time. Shadow Hearts. Alec,
He's here.
that's it.
He knows it.
It wasn't Roses. Shadow Hearts.
Alec, it happens, dude. He said, "I'm sorry." Alec, it's okay.
That's all right.
He doesn't. You don't need his forgiveness. You can have
I
mine.
never went back to that game because I'm like, I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's happened.
That's fine.
I get it.
It's fine. Honestly, I couldn't remember the name of it. It probably wasn't. It's not like it.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Would it have maybe shaped the rest of your life?
Possibly.
It's something
It
that could have been the
probably
best
huge.
game you've ever played.
It
but
probably, yeah.
you'll never know.
I'll never know.
Anyway, that's it.
That's
the
all we
show.
have for the
That's the news.
Nate did say it says it happened with my game, Pokemon Blue.
I think the only thing that's coming out is real early if you paid the Uber $100 price is the Space Marine 2.
Space Marine 2 technically drops for everybody next Monday.
New season of Warframe started today.
Ooh,
I hopped on and saw that. I was like, oh, that was good timing.
that is good timing.
But also their seasons are free and blah, blah, blah. So
I'll get home. I'll get it downloaded. Don't you worry.
Yeah, we'll try it.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out today. Really appreciate it. If you're watching on the YouTube, please like and subscribe and do all that good stuff. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you like or what you didn't like from the news today. A lot of goods and a lot of bads, but just always a good time. If you want to stay up to date with us, best place to do it, patreon.com/RealPixel. Let you know when we do go live on Twitch, when YouTube VODs become available, and the audio versions of this podcast are available right there. You can get them on I have them on my Apple Podcast. I was just telling Stokes the other day, I finished a podcast and then it auto-played this one. And I was like, oh, I'm glad it sounds like
it sounds good.
It fits in the world of podcasts. I always am worried that like the stuff
We're on a
create,
production level, we're good.
Yes, I was
We
like,
just gotta
the
work on
intro
that
music
other stuff.
sounds good, the audio sounds good. I was like, sweet, we fit. Now we just got to be actually good at podcasting.
That's the spirit.
But thanks so much for hanging out once again, everybody. Stokes, do you have anything else?
I've got nothing.
Then we're going to sign off as we always do and say sweet dreams, and we'll see you for breakfast.